The amateur game has always been a big part in our lives. It's always the topic of our conversations and is constantly on our minds on a daily basis.
Although it's not at a professional level, the amateur game is a working class sport at a working class level. Players put their bodies on the line, lives on hold, and have worked their socks off to be the best they can be from the top to the bottom of the amateur game.
We live and breathe football, and the amateur game has given us our best years in football. Both of us have come to the end of our playing days and want to sit and speak to the legends of the game, legends in their world, to sit and listen about the careers and stories of the game we love.
Welcome to our podcast.
3 points, please.
Okay, today we have a Sheriff Y.C legend, has won everything in the game, had a few ding-dongs up him over the years. I'm sure Nelson did as well. There's a few players now we had to get on. We had a few ding-dongs. A good, proper top class amateur centre half. Had it all, won it all. Anto Kavanagh, welcome.
How you going, lads? All right, yeah. Good to be here.
So Anto, what are you at these days?
You know yourself, Nelson, just keeping myself fit, training away, doing me little bits and pieces as I go along, you know, looking after the family.
You said you're going to watch a lot of football these days, are you?
Yeah, I go and watch a bit of football, yeah. Friday night's my night, you know. Friday, out, wherever, Talca Park, Dalymount Park, up to watch Usher, whoever's local,
keep yourself busy,
keep yourself busy. Friday night is my night for football, you know.
Lovely. So you missed the football at all, yeah?
I don't
Playing,
miss it, no. I don't miss it, Nelson, no.
I think that's a lot of people we talked to that have played at the highest level. Like the Canes, they said the exact same thing, that they're not missing football at the moment. Giff kind of said it as well, didn't he? That they're not missing football, so I think you've done your time at this stage, yeah?
Exactly, yeah. No, I don't look at it. We had years and years of playing football and got a lot out of it as well, like, so. No, my time is up with football. Don't miss it. I go and watch it and I enjoy watching it now, you know what I mean? So that's good for me, like, you know.
Is the young lad playing, is he?
No, my uncle doesn't play football. No, my uncle's totally different than what I was, you know. Yeah. He's into rock climbing, he's playing guitars, he's learning Spanish, he's doing all the things that I didn't do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
he's
doing other stuff, you know what I mean? Like what he likes, you know.
Yeah,
so it's good
of course,
for him,
and you don't force it on to go play football.
No, sorry.
Brilliant.
No, I brought him down to Belvo and it wasn't for him, you know. So I says, right, no problem, son. And he's at the finding thing now in the last 6 months with rock climbing. He loves it.
Class.
Down the Westwood, 3 and 4 hours a day through the summer, you know. So it's good, like, you know. It's all good, like.
Brilliant. Deadly. Right, Anto, so take us back where it all started with you.
Where it all started? It all started actually in Harbour Street. So we lived in Harbour Street when we were younger. And, you know, Carl Reynolds, who was involved in Carl, his dad, God rest him, Pinko, had set a team up, you know. So there's a few of the lads from Harbour Street, 1 or 2 from around the area playing on the Harbour. And I think we had 1 or 2 seasons there, like, you know, as a young fella. Don't know what happened. I think the team just kind of fell apart or whatever happened, like, you know what I mean? So then I went down to Sheriff, believe it or not, down to a cousin of mine used to go out with David Fagan, you know, Fagan off Sheriff. David used to play up front, his brother, and then he asked me to go down and do a bit of training down there, so I went down.
Is this Sheriff Y.C at this time?
Sheriff Y.C, yeah, Y.C down Sheriff Street, like down where the hall is, like now. And he asked me to down and do a bit of training. I went down and I ended up signing for them for a year or 2 as well. And after that, then I went out to Belvo. But I heard just talking about Gip Barber and other people about the year change. So I was playing a year, because I was born in January. So I was playing the year ahead. Couldn't get a game really, you know what I mean? There's good players down there. So I left Belvo and went to Shelbourne then. They set up a team, went up there. I ended up playing for Shelbourne then for a couple of years, so yeah.
Were you always a centre half, or did you?
Oh, we actually played in centre midfield. Centre midfield, I did. Yeah. Holding midfielder, is that what they call it now? But, you know.
As a schoolboy or early days?
As a schoolboy, like, you know. So when I played for Sheriff, I think I played right back and central midfield. Then I went to Belvo. I probably couldn't get a game in midfield. There's probably that many good players ahead of me. And then I ended up playing right back then for a while. Then went to Shelbourne and I ended up being a centre half for Shelbourne. So that's when I ended up sticking with centre half. That was my position then, you know.
Yeah. You're a proper centre half that loved defending the way you've played, like.
I loved it. Yeah. Loved it. Yeah. win the ball first, you know what I mean? Set your mark early. That was my way.
Get to the leg to come up and get the player, is it? Yeah, tricks of the trade.
That was my way, you know. Win the ball early, set your mark, like, you know, and just see how it goes.
I remember playing against Sheriff against for Wefta. I know obviously went to one of the runs I usually do, and you said to me, "Come on, let's take me on." I was like, "No, turn around, pass the back,
give it to someone else."
Yeah. I noticed that with you as a defender that was well playing against you. You'd do all the defending and you'd win the ball, and then it's just a little easy pass off the player into someone and let everyone else do the
that
rest.
Was the way. Do you know what, Alan? I was like, when I was a bit younger, I wasn't actually able to play football. I could defend and I could do all the other stuff, but actually playing football, getting the ball, just giving it to someone else to let them do the work. A fella, he's dead now, God rest him, Danny Kenny at Belvo, he put it into me. He says, "Anto, you need to, when you get the ball, just knock it off and give it to someone else, because you can do everything else right, but when you're getting the ball, you're trying to carry it into midfield, you're trying to run past two players. That's not what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Get the ball, give it to someone else, knock it off, get into your position," and then that was the way he set it up for me. So Danny Kenny kind of actually put that into my head, you know what I mean?
Brilliant. And I went through all the way
just
up
carried on
career,
then. Carried
Deadly.
on, like, you know, so only for him then I probably wouldn't be able to play football.
You
know?
So did you finish at Shells, or what way did schoolboy go? Like, did you go? You went away, did you?
I was at Millwall. I was on a trial at Millwall. It wasn't for me. I don't think England, like, you know, if it had been offered probably a contract, I doubt, and I'm serious when I say this, I doubt I probably would have went over there and done well, because it wasn't for me, you know. I didn't feel comfortable in that environment, you know. I was happy to be home and in around my ma's and stuff like that, you know. That was my way, like, you know. So no, I don't think if it had actually been offered a contract in England that I would have walked out, because it wasn't for me, you know. And that,
would you say that stuck with you then through your career, being kind of in that environment at home, kind of stead local football teams?
Exactly.
Belvo, Sheriff.
I felt comfortable, like, you know. In certain environments I wouldn't be comfortable, like, you know what I mean. So, like, when I was playing for Belvo, I was comfortable. Danny Kenny looked after me, brought me training. We didn't have a car in the house, like, you know what I mean. Dan never drove, so we were going to play Joey's or the Orchard or wherever it was. Danny would always say, "Listen, meet me out in my house in Marino at whatever time, and I'll pick you up," like, you know what I mean. So, like, that was the way he was with me. Like, he looked after me, like, you know what I mean. And he'd ring the house phone, "Listen, Anto, training's off tonight, blah blah blah," you know what I mean, like that. Like, so he was good for me, like, you know.
So you went into 21s football then, did you?
I went up to 21s football, Nelson. I left Belvo. Belvo obviously under 18s, and then that's the next step, is wherever you want to go.
You two would have been the same age, wouldn't you? You played Nelson's age, you played against each other. Yeah.
I was actually asked to go out the UCD, and do you know what? I say to myself, why didn't I go out there? I would have got, like, I don't know, it was a scholarship.
Yeah, they would have the same symptoms as myself and Daz went out. We went
it's a similar point to that, Nelson.
Yeah.
Like, so a lad rang the house phone again, probably, or he was on to Danny Kenny and Mark O'Brien star, and he was saying come out to UCD, and I was like, UCD, how am I going to get to Belfield and stuff like that? And
it was a disaster.
Again, I was comfortable in my environment, so I was like, you know what, Shells is up the road. That's I was playing for them.
And you're at the playing schoolboy with them, so you have a
connection. I knew the lads, like, you know, from knocking around town and wherever else, and Bones was playing with them, William Malloy, one or two others from around, and I knew the lads from Belvo, so I was like, you know what, I'll go up here and see how this goes. But you know what, I went up there and it wasn't again for me. The manager didn't take a liking to me. There was a couple of players ahead of me who was a year or two older, which shouldn't have meant that, but it did back then, you know what I mean? Like, they were like, no, they're senior players and you were only coming in, and I was like, you know what, I can't sit around. I want to be playing football, like, you know. And then Gino Brazel, who's my neighbour, lives down the same road as me, like, you know. He says, "Me, what are you doing?" I said, Gino, look, I says, it's not working out for Shells, I says, and he says, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm just going to pack it in," I says, like, and then I'll do whatever. He's like, "Well, you're going to have to tell them." He said, "But when you tell them," he says, "knock in," he says, "and you go training with us about Bowers." I was like, "Yeah, are you serious?" And he was like, yeah, 100%, Anto. So I rang Pat and he says, "Pat," says, "Are you around?" He says, "Yeah, I'm up in the club, like up in Talca Park." And I says, "Can I come up to you?"
He was your manager,
He was the senior manager. There was a lad,
what's
his name, Frank O'Neill was his name. He was a nice bloke, but, like, you know, he wasn't for me, you know what I mean? There was no relationship there, and he wasn't kind of like, "Listen, you're going to be playing next week, just give it a bit of time." It was like, these lads are playing, and you're not. That was kind of his way, you know.
I think
so
it was like that 21s, wasn't it? There was no real kind of like what you were at the saying, you know, what you had for a schoolboy manager. The man that you mentioned there, like, you know, picking you up, phoning you and all, like, you wouldn't have got that at 21s. They wouldn't have cared too much about it.
You're so used to playing, obviously, every week with Belvo and everything else, and then you're going to different sort of things where you had to wait for your chance and you're not being playing, so you kind of have to get used to it. But obviously, some people don't adapt to it, you know.
I couldn't wait around else, and I wanted to be just playing football, like, you know, playing a game, like, you know yourself, like, you want to go train Tuesday, Thursday, play Saturday. That was just the way it was. And I wasn't playing. I was like getting frustrated with myself, I think, more than anything else. Like, I was going at the train and I was like, do you know what, I don't need to be here, like, you know what I mean? Because whether I train well, I do this, I do that, I wasn't going to play. There was a fella, I don't know what his name was, but he ended up playing for Talca Rovers. You probably know him, man. And he centre half, played for Liverpool or Man United or something. He big tall lad.
Alan McDermott, was it?
Was his name? Was Alan McDermott? He played for Shells, he did.
I think Alan came back from United, didn't he?
Was he United? Was it United or Liverpool? I was trying to think for myself there who was ahead of me. Him, and there was another lad there ahead of me. And they're hardly going to play me and then him after coming home from Man United, you know, and getting a few quid as well, probably. So I was like, you know what? As I said, I rang Nutsy and he says, where are you? He says, in the club in Talca. So I walked up with my dog. I had the dog, walked up to Talca Park. And the dog ended up putting the dog onto the pitch, and Nutsy's like, you can't do what you're doing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, Pat, because if I'm trying to talk to you and the dog is pulling, I says, I'm going to get be distracted. I said, listen, I says, I'm not playing. And I says, I'm going to leave. He's like, are you sure? He says, you're only 18 or whatever. And I was like, Pat, I want to be playing football, I says. And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I says, I'm not going to get a game, I says, because if these fellas ahead of me who was playing for Man United, and another guy, I says, who was probably in the first team, but he's only playing 21s because he can't get a game. So it's not going to happen for me.
Yeah, you were being honest.
Yeah, I was being honest, Al. Yeah, exactly. And he's like, okay, shook me hand and whatever else. He said, but I think I make the wrong move. I says, but look, time will tell on that. Like, in my own head, I said, let's see. So I knocked down to Gino. I says, Gino, I says, yeah, I might have been up there with Pat Fenlon. He says, like, yeah, go ahead, he says, and I think I make the wrong move. And he said, well, look, I proved them wrong, he said. So when I heard that, I was like, you know what, he's with me here, like, you know, that type of way, like. So I went up the training on the Tuesday, and as I wasn't playing, like, do you know what I mean? So I needed to be playing to become fit, and went up, and all we did was run. So on the way home, I was exhausted, sitting in Gino's car. I was like, is this every week, Gino? You know,
it's trying to scope it out.
And he's like, no, he says, it's not. He says, I just wanted to see what way you were. He says, you know. I said, so all that session, I said, was to see how I reacted. He says, yeah. He says, of course it was. He says, yeah. He says, okay. I says, what do you think? He says, look at. He says, you weren't fit. He says, but you'll get there. So I says,
he knew you put the work in for it.
Yeah, I was willing to train hard. Like, I was willing to train hard, like, and no problem there. Like, you know, I was willing to give it everything I had. Like, and he goes, right, no problem. So every Tuesday, Thursday, up into Alsa Club. But every Tuesday after training, because we played a match of a Saturday out on the 21s, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, whatever, he'd keep on running me on the Tuesday after everybody left, because he was giving me lifts home because he couldn't make any excuses. I have to go home. You know what I mean? He knew you had about I had to do it. You know what I mean? So he kept on running me, and I got really, really fit, probably fit as I ever was playing football. And then he started me in one game playing against Drogheda United. Mark Rooney, you know Mark Rooney, he played for Sheriff Rooney, big fella. Adam Rooney is his brother. I mean, Mark Rooney, lovely fella. He was playing for Drogheda, and he was in Droghed's first team, and they absolutely marked him out of the game, like, you know what I mean? And on the way home, Gino says, you know what, he says, I knew you had it, he says, but I just wanted to see, could I get it out of you? Yeah. And I was like, thanks, Gino, blah, blah, blah. And so I went on from there. Like, I was doing really well under Gino at Bowes 21s, playing with Gipper Arbor, Gar Logan. Like, don't know if you remember Cottle Sweetman there. Yeah. Sweets, he was a brilliant player. Me and him centre half. Yeah. He was brilliant now.
Very good he was,
Yeah, he had a good football brain. Yeah. James Keddy used to come down from the first team, because I think James was only part-time. Bowes was going full-time with Stephen Kenny at the time. Bowes was going full-time, and James had an electrician company, or he was, you know, so James he'd come down and do a bit of training. Toig Murphy, do you remember the keeper?
Toig, yeah.
So there's a good squad of players there, and all nice lads as well, you know what I mean? And I felt comfortable. Yeah. Again, I felt comfortable with Gino, and you know what I mean? So I done well there, and then that season was over, and he says, listen, go up and train with the first team in Alce. And I was like, how am I going to go up to the Alce? No, I know it was only up the road.
And
so
he's not going.
He's not going, exactly, you know, like that out. So I says, I get the bike, cycled up to the Alce. Glenn Crowe was there. Kevin Hunt was there.
They were all the big shots back then.
They were the boys, like, you know, and they were nice lads as well, like, you know, to be fair, Kevin Hunt, like, how's it going, Anto? But Robbie Doyle, I don't know if you know Robbie Doyle, yeah? Do you know now? He played for Blackburn Rovers. Real good looking fella, you know, like, fancied himself now, but he says to me, come over to me, he says, how's it going, buddy? All right, blah, blah. And so we're going on with him then, you know what I mean? There was a little thing there.
Yeah.
So I trained with the first team, Hunty, Glenn Crowe, but in my head I was like, do you know what, I need to make a mark here. So I went into the session, warmed up on the running track, you know, the running track up in the Alce Club, done a few laps of that and stuff like that and whatever else. So we got into back pitch then, and there was balls being put out and we were doing a bit of whatever. Then we went into a game. So in my head I was like, do you know what, Glenn Crowe is the main man, I'm going to stick it up to him and see how we're going on here.
Yeah,
you know yourself, like, you know what I mean, the main man,
something.
let's see, like, and again, I done well, like, do you know what I mean? But I went a little bit too over the top. These probably had a game on Friday.
Yeah.
So
and taking out the main man.
And I'm like, you know, getting stuck in and
yeah, but you wanting to prove yourself. It's not you wanting to say, I'm going to give it to Glenn Crowe. You're there for a reason.
Yeah,
I was trying to play for that team. Do you know what I mean?
I was trying to make a mark here, exactly, you know, like, and say, listen, I'm able to do this. Like, there's no problem here. Like, you know what I mean? And after the session, Stephen Kenny comes over and he says, well done. He said, son, blah blah blah, and he says, well, just relax a little bit. And I was like in my head saying, relax, like. Sure, look at
should be want me to do this,
yeah.
Should be want me to do this,
you know,
prove a point and push yourself to the limits and all, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, is that not what we're here for? But I didn't say it to him, I said it to myself, like, so I went home, knocked into Jano on his door. How's it going, Jano? And he said, how'd you get on? I said, yeah, I done really well, Jano. I says, flying in the training and the runs and whatever else. But I says, after training, the manager says to me, I went a little bit too hard, like, you know. And he's like, you went a bit too hard. I says, yeah. I says, I was getting stuck in and training and all. He says, all right, no bother. Gino says, I'll have a chat and see, like, you know. So went training then the Thursday morning. It was a morning time training. And again, done really well, like, you know what I mean? So that just continued on. But I wasn't getting anywhere, if that makes any sense. You know, it wasn't like, he wasn't saying, listen,
keep pushing yourself and get in, or you get an opportunity if you keep at it and all that.
Yeah,
never
there was none coming. There was just like, I was just another body. Yeah, it was just another body kind of there, you know, like that. So again, didn't suit me, like, you know. So I just played the 21s and that was it. Then I just kind of like left Bowers, and Bisto was playing for Pats at the time. I said, Bisto, do you know what, I'm going to go up and do a bit of training with you up at Pats. And he rang Paul Ozam. Paul says, yeah, bring him up. Again, done well in training and stuff like that. But look, at that time I think, like, I was like, do you know what, this is not going to happen for me. Aircom League at the time, whatever, League of Ireland. So it just says, right, that's me done there. And then I think I just went down and played with Sheriff then.
It sounds like, from what you're at the being speaking, obviously you're playing at a really high level all the way up, but it sounds like junior or amateur football was just waiting for you, and you were just waiting for that, and like you probably didn't even know it. Like you
tried your hand at
you were just probably bent to be a fucking smashing amateur player. Do you know what I mean? But you're actually playing at that level and then saying, right, I'm gonna go into amateur, and then bang.
Sheriff was my local side, and my cousin's partner at the time, he played for Sheriff, like, you know, and he'd be coming down to my cousin's house and sitting there watching whatever, the match of the day or the evening football, and I'd be like, what's that happening to you? He's like, we're playing against Kevin's or Wefte.
Yeah.
That's what happening, like, what? He said, this is men's football. I was like, well, look, that's not really for me, like, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I ended up going down, and again, William Malloy was there, Bones, Jono, who else? David Fagan, John Thompson, you know, the
older boys that were there at the start. Yeah.
This is Y.C or United?
No, Sheriff Y.C.
Y.C. was it yesterday?
Sheriff Y.C. Yeah.
Because I remember actually the kind of the rise, you could say, of Sheriff. I remember Sheriff were in Premier B at the time. I think I was playing with the Valley, and we were in Premier A a couple of years, and Sheriff were only kind of coming up, you know. They had who was playing, the likes of Ali King and Tucker, and Bones was there, and them lads that you mentioned, I think the Twinnies were playing for them as well, and they were only at the coming up, and they were always you knew they were coming, do you know what I mean? And they had a great little core of players, and it took them a while to get there because they were in Premier A for probably 3-4 years maybe.
Premier B, Al.
When they got into Premier A.
Oh, right,
after
sorry.
being in Premier B.
Yeah.
And they probably were in there for about probably three years, I remember them, and like weren't really getting anywhere. Do you know what I mean? As a young team kind of would, like, and then obviously the likes of yourself probably came in, and then the younger lads, Paulie, Murphy and Wacker and all probably start coming in.
Yeah.
You'd know more.
No, you're right, you're bang on. Yeah, no, you're right, you're spot on, Al, yeah. We got out Premier B without...
Oh, so you went and they were in Premier B?
Yeah, we were in Premier B, like, you know, and they were playing, like, I don't know, some of the teams, I couldn't tell you now what the teams were, but, like...
The likes of Raheny and Holt and all.
Holt's probably, you know, the likes of that. They were tough, like, you know.
Yeah.
Tough teams
they
were.
Like, coming from where I was at the being playing, like, said, this is just going to be a stroll in the park. You know what I mean? Like, this is just a bit of football and you go home and the game is over, but... Like, we were in Premier B and they were tough games. I don't know, as I said, who some of the teams were at the time, but... I think it took us 2 years or 3 years, no, maybe 2 years. 2 seasons to get out of that Premier B.
Tough league, wasn't it? Premier B.
Very tough
league.
Very, very tough, like, you know. And then we got the Premier A. And as you said, Paulie, Wacker, Browner. Who else was on that team? The lads. Joseph Flood.
Tony.
All them, you know, all them lads.
Yeah.
Like,
they were a year younger than me, I think, them boys.
For Sheriff, I
think they were a year younger.
Sounds like a team full of young lads. That's why it probably took you so long, because you hadn't got the experience to go win.
That's what happened, Nelson. See them lads, like the likes of them boys, like they were only all like 18, 19, where I was like trying at the League of Ireland and stuff like that. But they came straight into Sheriff, and obviously I knew Paulie and Wacker. Wacker grew up beside me in Hill Street. Paulie I knocked around with since he was a kid, hung around with Bones and Lee. So them boys come in then, and Premier A was a tough league. Like, you know what I mean? Some really tough teams, and we done all right. Like, you know what I mean? We done all right. Never challenged them for the league or anything like that. But we held our own in some games. You know, the bigger games, you probably get beaten. Like, but you'd accept that at that stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it was. What was the manager's name? Jimmy Scuddy was the manager.
Yeah, I remember him.
You know, Jimmy, nice
was
fella.
Was he with Greg? Did Greg give him a hand?
Greg was there. Yeah, Greg was involved.
Yeah.
Jimmy and could be Tommy O'Connor. I don't know exactly who was, but it was that long ago, like, you know. But we done all right. We held our own, like, you know what I mean. But then Jimmy stepped away, and Tranner and Paul Usher came in.
That's right. Yeah.
And then
I remember when they came in.
Like that went from like here to here, you know what I mean? Like, so
Tranner was from down user area, wasn't it? So he'd have been a bit of a figure for, like, you was looking up to him. Would it have been like when because he was with Malahide and a few big boys,
you'd say to yourself, like,
and
good players, Tranner Mitchell, you know, that type of way, like, you'd say, you know.
And he had a bit of stint in the League of Ireland
Shells.
That's right.
Yeah, he played with Shells. Tranner's a brilliant player, like, seriously.
Hard centre.
Really,
I played against him a couple of times when I was on, like, about 18, 19. Playing against him with Malahide and all, I remember playing, and he was a hard bastard.
Tranner's a really good footballer.
Play.
Could tackle, and he knew how to defend, you know what I mean? So Tranner came in with Paul Usher. And I knew Usher from Belvo. Another sound fella, Paul, like, you know, real good football.
Great footballer as well,
yeah,
wasn't he?
He's supposed to be very good, yeah. Now, he's good in his little five-sides, you know, like that, but he wouldn't get involved in the, you know, the heavy five-sides. He'd just tip around, like,
unless
you know.
He was on you or John's team, probably.
Yeah, you know yourself, Alan. But that was another 1 or 2 years then. 1 or 2 seasons with Usher and Tranner. And I had a little run in with Paul. It was my fault. We were playing away in the country or somewhere. I'm not sure exactly. I think it was probably, I'm not sure where it was, but it was my fault, you know what I mean? And Paul said something to me, and I overreacted and done something I shouldn't have done, like, you know what I mean? And then that was it. He says, listen, we can't have this, no problem. So we ended up leaving Sheriff and going to Sheriff United, where Anto Kavanagh was the manager. You know, like that, and then...
That's right. I remember when they first came up. Can you remember when Sheriff United first came up? Because you would have been in Premier A for probably a couple of years, and then they came, didn't
exactly,
they?
Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
So the likes of... I think Joe Flood was playing, and then Tony was playing for with Sheriff United. Carl McCabe. Stephen McCabe. You know, all the lads.
Fitzer and all, yeah.
David Simons.
That's right, yeah.
All that, like, you know, all that group of lads. Again, another strong group of lads, like, you know what I mean? So...
Were they literally same area with yours?
I was just about to ask that,
yeah. So
which is crazy to have two solid teams from the same area. Obviously, these are probably known for your football and around the flats and everything else, but that's a good group of lads that you have there. And obviously, when you amalgamated into two, or you all came in one team, it's shown. All the good players came into one team.
Yeah, exactly, Nelson. But Sheriff United used to train up in O'Connell's school. You know O'Connell's school there, just under North Sickler Road, and in the hall. And Sheriff used to train at one stage out in the AOL, so it was a bit far away as well. AOL Tuesday, Thursday, 9 o'clock at night and all that type of stuff. That was a bit much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't have what they have now, with the Astros and that stuff, But no, Sheriff United was a good, strong team. They used to have Yatta, you know Yatta there? He's Greg's cousin, he is Yatta. Jason Curtains.
And what was the lad up front? His name was Jason as well. Played up front, good player. Centre forward. It's probably the same. Was it Nibs?
Jay Nibs. Yeah, Jason Nibs. Yeah.
Good player,
Jason,
wasn't he?
Very
Jay?
good player.
Yeah.
Just
remember
didn't,
progress.
Yeah, didn't dedicate himself to football. You know what I mean? He didn't. Good player. Don't get me wrong, but he didn't dedicate himself to football. Football was like a second thing to him.
Yeah.
Training and stuff like that. Tuesday, Thursday. Then it didn't really matter to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
But Jay's a pal of mine.
Long just last with Sheriff United.
I was at Sheriff United, I think, only for one season. And then I think whatever went on, I probably rang somebody or somebody said, "You going back to Sheriff?" It's like, sure, I'm at the main that Sheriff, and I fell out with Paul, and it's like, yeah, but listen, go down there, down the club. I think it was Brian Dunleavy or somebody like that. You know Brian, the Alpha Brian?
Yeah.
Involved, or Johnny Walsh, one of them two.
Johnny, yeah.
Says, come down, sit down, iron it out, and come back. And I was like, yeah, no problem. Went down, said to Paul, listen, hands up, Paul, I apologise about that. And he took me apology.
I was forgiven.
Yeah, at the time I don't think it was a sincere apology. I think I just wanted to say, right, just let me back and play, you know. And but as I said, I talked to Paul now, and I went and talked to him loads of times since, and I was like, Paul, listen, he said, no hard feelings.
Yeah,
it was me.
When it's football related as well, isn't there?
It was me. I was carrying stuff in my head
that
I thought we should have been probably doing better than what we were doing, and then it just came out, it came out the wrong way,
So then, you made up with Paul Usher, and
made up with Paul, but it wasn't at the time. It wasn't sincere. Now
you look back, a bit more mature.
There was something silly though.
It was my fault. I was totally out of order. Shouldn't have done it, but Paul accepted it for what it was. He says, "Listen, that was no problem. Come down, keep your head down, do a bit of training, and
benefit of the team." Yeah.
Well, all my mates are playing there. You know what I mean? It was a little bit awkward, like me playing for Sheriff United. Not that I didn't want to play for Sheriff United, but I'd rather play for Sheriff Y.C. All my mates were there.
Yeah, and they were the better team at the end of the day, weren't they?
What happened to Sheriff United in the end?
Sheriff United just went to it,
they just disappeared. Obviously not disappeared, but did they get relegated or
just went?
Did they
basically
maybe
disappeared?
folded?
Simple as that. Like Anto Kavanagh was the manager. He was doing good things at them. He was getting good players in, and Joe was out with Bisto Senior, the outlet. He was involved doing a little bit up there as well. You know what I mean? They had Marty Gibbons. It was nice group of senior men there. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It kind of just disappeared. And I was happy enough to back the Sheriff, So I went down there, and then Toronto and Usher was there. Don't ask me about dates and times, because I don't have a clue. But I think we won the league with Toronto and Usher. I think so.
Nice, definitely did win the league.
Did we? Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
And Alan O'Keefe, Alan, the left wing,
the left side, yeah.
He was the best player that whole season.
Was he? Yeah. Did he play left full then? Was he? Left wing he was playing.
He was absolutely. Now Alan O'Keefe's a proper good footballer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, sometimes his attitude might let him down, but
very good technically as well.
Very good.
He was. Yeah, I thought that with Alan anyway.
He was. Honestly, he was. He was our best player that year, I think. And I always say it to anyone. I think Twinny was the best player that year.
Yeah.
I think we won the league that season. I don't know, but you said we did, so I think we did. And then again, Paul Usher and Toronto, they done their own things. I think Toronto went out to Malahide to coach or something, or Usher went out to Malahide or somewhere
like that,
in the Leinster Senior League at the time.
Yeah.
Then Alan Riley came in. Then Alan and Giles came in, and then it just kicked on. So I went from there to there to there. When they came in, you know what I mean? He brought in 4th session John Lester. Now anyone who knows John Lester, you know, he's a heavy fella. He's like, didn't know him really, you know, like through football and that. But when I seen him playing, I was like, Jesus Christ, who's this fella? You know, he was better than what I'd ever seen. Like, you know, as Sheriff, like.
Dad said that about him as well, didn't he? Like, don't let us, and when you look at him, don't let him feel you. And I don't think
I've ever seen him lose a header either.
I wouldn't.
Good near,
Nelson, you wouldn't. Do you know what? He took that many headers off my head in the middle of the park. This is honest to God. No, because I'd be going into trying to from the central defence. You know yourself, you're trying to get into the try and win every ball. But like I didn't need to do that then.
He's
because Leicester would do it. You know what I mean? Like so look at John will win it. And if he doesn't win it, I'll just drop in behind and I'll just pick up a second ball type of thing. So it was, but again, as I said, it made it easy, Al. Yeah, it really did. Like, you know what I mean? And that gave me time then to think about the game, then what was around, like, you know what I mean?
Course,
and try and organise.
Good way of putting it,
yeah. So
once Alan had kind of established a team that was doing well, every year he kind of added one or two to kind of better players out of the league. Mostly centre forwards, like he brought in Dunner,
brilliant player.
Brought in Stewie Glenn, so he brought in is he down there, wasn't he? She brought in players like that just to keep it fresh, obviously keep John on his toes as well, you know.
Yeah, but look at John was the mainstay in the team. Like, you know, John was the number 9, whatever you want to call it, number 10, number 9, but John was the number 9. And then there was always
both, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. You could play anywhere, like, you know, in around that area. You could play, as you know, he had the brain to play football.
Anywhere.
And then you could score goals. So look, you could play them 9, 10, whatever you wanted. And then, as you said, Keith won. Brilliant footballer.
Very good, was
I played against Dunners for Shells under 21s against Pats, and we had a good ding dong of each other. Ended up getting him sent off, and then we played against him for Cardiff. He played for, you know, because he's from Blanchkeith. Like, played against him for Cardiff, and I'm like, oh, here we go, this fella again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
and it was the exact same thing what went on 10 years previous, getting stuck into each other and whatever else. Then he came down to Sheriff.
Is that where Dunner came from? He was with Cardiff.
Yeah,
so he played Premier A with Cardiff.
I remember playing against him in Cardiff, and I didn't really know much about him, and played against him, and as you said, he was bouncing off you, saying, giving you the fucking toss.
He was well able. Sleeves rolled, 100%. He was well able, like, you know, like you wouldn't, like, you know, he'd give as good as he got.
100%.
And you'd know you were in a game. You know that, probably playing against him. You know yourself, Nelson. He was well able.
He wouldn't let you like set on the ball at all.
No.
He's on you all.
And really good on the ball as well.
Brilliant.
Lift the old elbow in or the shoulder in and don't push you off the ball. Like, so. But he's some pace in him as well, though.
Very quick. Very, very quick.
Look, he goes in through his gears.
Very quick. But he had a look. Him and John had just clicked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then obviously he brought Darren O'Brien. I knew Daz from Belvo. Like, he played a little bit with Daz. He come up to play for our year at Belvo. You know what I mean? And I knew Daz was brilliant. And I played against him at Weft, and I was like,
he knew the quality.
Footballer. I knew Daz could play football. You know what he's like, boys. He's
just he's a footballer. Pure footballer.
Wouldn't give the ball away. You know what I mean? In a bleeding smoke box. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's an unbelievable footballer.
And I think he thrived then when he went to Hughes, because he was like, when Daz was with all of us at Weft. No, I'm not saying he was too good for us, but people around him, I think when he went to Sheriff, the quality of having Wacker, Bones, all John Lester, all around
connection there,
like when you like, that's a step above then from Dan. Even say playing even in like the middle with me or somebody else up at Weft or Barty or whatever. Now look, we were able to mix it, of course, well able to mix it at that level. But when he went there and he had Hughes had not even 11 class players, probably 15, 16.
Absolutely.
That can come in and all do the same job. And I think Daz thrived with you was big time.
I did. Look at, as I said, I knew Daz from Belvo, and I knew how good he was, you know, because he came up, as I said, a year, and I just gave him the ball because I knew that he could play football.
Yeah,
you know, some people,
trust him with it. Yeah,
he'd be like, you know, but Daz, he'd just say, go ahead, do what you have to do. Like, do you know what I mean?
If it's not on, I'll just play it back to you then.
Yeah, no, he knows how to play football.
Yeah,
you know,
he plays it the right way.
100%. And I'd say this now, and I always say it, like, if Daz was playing football now the way football is played, I have no doubt in my mind that he could have went to the next level of football. Yeah. Because football's played the way he plays football now.
Of course.
Possession-based football, not 100 miles an hour, everyone getting stuck in. And that's the way it was 10 years ago, 12 years ago, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then he brought in Leicester. He brought in...
This is his first year, is it? Which year was
John Leicester he brought in there. So that was John the first year. Then I think Daz was probably the second or third year, maybe. You will know that.
I think it's the second year.
Second year, was it?
He was at Daz for a while, he was, to get him down.
Alan was,
yeah.
And then he brought in Keith Dunn. That was probably the same time as Darren O'Brien. Then he brought in Kevin Lynch.
Good player.
From East Wall. That was another year later, maybe. A brilliant player, you know. But like everything just came together, and then we played against Shelbourne in Tolka Park. That was Alan's first game in 2000. And again,
somebody's beat them 4. I wasn't there. There was a bit of betting patron on that or something. There's a accordion. That was that. Is that game?
That sounds like he knows something.
No. This is true. It's gone. Like, there was no fix or anything in that game. I can guarantee you that. Like, you know what I mean?
The goal scored 4.5 in line.
We beat them 3-2.
3-2. Yeah.
William Malloy got a free kick.
William got 2 of the best goals.
Thomas
Mean, Bomber.
Yeah, where did he go to?
Bomber plays. He's coaching at East Wall now. He is. Yeah, good player. Very good player.
Very good little player he was.
Them 3 of the best goals. After one of the goals I scored myself, actually. So 4 of the best goals you'll ever see. Them 3 goals. Well,
that day against Shells.
That day against Shells, yeah. But
how did you get to play then? What was that in?
Because in the FAI.
Because in the FAI senior, you're obviously from winning Premier A the year or 2 before, maybe. Was it the year before? Because if you win Premier A, wasn't it that? If you win, how did you qualify for that? The FAI senior.
I'm not sure.
Because when you win
the
a
last
league
semi-finals of the FAI junior, whoever gets to the semi-finals there goes at the FAI.
Yeah. Is that the way that was it? Right, okay.
The senior cup then.
So we must have been in the semi-finals of the junior cup before that year before Alan came in. So that was with Usher again and Trana.
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah. Very possible, yeah. But that game, like, that's Alan's first game, and that was, like, unbelievable, like, you know.
Was Alan did Alan play for Shells?
Alan played for Shells.
So it would have been a big
Alan played for Shells. Alan played for Bows. Alan played for Pats. Alan played for Drogheda. Yeah, whatever the money was, Alan played. You know, you won't want me saying that. But, look at, and then Alan came in, and then we done really well then with that game. And I think, like, when we realised, like, you're beating Shelbourne here. Now, I don't know what stage Shelbourne was at. You know, remember they went through a bad time.
Well, look, they were
professional. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
They had really good players.
What's the team there? Can you remember? What yous have?
Oh, what we had?
What yous have, yeah. More interesting.
Obviously,
than that
Lee and Gowl. Myself, Paulie, Joe Flood, Browner, Wacker, Lester, William Malloy, obviously, Bomber, Johnner. And there was 1 or 2 around that, like, you know, the likes of Joe Tucker, thinking I was probably on the bench at that stage, you know, because we were getting a little bit higher than the levels that they were at, probably.
Willie could stick a free kick in, couldn't he? He
scored
a good few against Wefty. He did.
Unbelievable.
Break me heart. 8-0 minute, just say it's 1-0 or something.
If you got a free kick,
but I'd give him a penalty.
You gave away a free kick.
You would. You nearly would. You had the chance of missing.
Gave away a free kick. Even it was outside the box, he was scoring. He was at least hitting the target.
Like, I used to say to myself on corners and all, like, if I just get into a position, William and I's just going to put that ball right on your head.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
Yeah.
And then, like, looking at his phrase, boys, to be just going at the top corner. Like, and now he had this, like, now he practiced. William did practice. William William was a footballer, practiced all the time, loved football, done everything right, correct. You know what I mean? Ate right and really dedicated himself to football. 100%. Yeah, you know, so. And then that's
so when the FAI started coming, wasn't Alan's first year, was it?
Alan's first year, I don't know what year that was against Shells, Nelson, to be honest with you. Years and dates and stuff like that.
I'm like that myself, I don't worry.
You know yourself,
too many smacks in the head.
Probably too much. You hit the ball before Leicester game. But whenever that was, say 2000 and, I don't know, 2000, whatever it was.
So it was Alan's first year or the second year that you
Alan's
started?
Alan's first year.
FAIs.
No, I don't think it was the first year.
No,
I don't think it was the first year. Could have been the second or third year, like, you know, that way. We played, who we playing the first final? Cabarrick,
the first final, yeah.
In Tolka. In Tolka Park, we beat them. We beat them handy, we did. Like, you know, not handy, but we beat them well.
Was this your first FAI junior?
That was the first FAI junior.
You played Cabarrick, yeah.
We played Cabarrick, yeah. Beat them in Tolka Park. Don't know, maybe 3-1, 4-1, 3-2. It was comfortable. It was comfortable, yeah. It felt comfortable, like, you know. And then 2000... That was 2000 and whatever, 10, 11, 12, in around them times. And then we went on and won everything then after that, really. Like League, Liddies, Niviads. And then just continuously won it.
I had a good ding dong off Cabarrick though. They were always pushing us.
Yeah, Cabarrick were good.
Yeah, very good.
They were good. You know, they were good. They had good squad of players. And they were, again, probably like what you had at Weft. They were all good mates. And, you know, they were all there for each other. There was none of them, like, you know, that was kind of outsiders. We're all in around that area, like, you know. But I felt, and again, it's not being cocky because I'm not like that. That's not who I am. I felt that if we played well against Cabarrick, we'd beat them.
He's had the beating of them.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
if they were on their day and you were on their day, you would come out on top.
100%. I just think we had more than them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
It was
I agree with
always
that.
1-0 though. It was never a thumping. It was always just 1-0, 2-1 or something.
It was never like big margins in the games because they were set up to stop us kind of playing the way we were getting to play at the time when Alan came in. Then we were playing good football, free flowing stuff. Everything was good. And
there used to be some crowds at the games. So we were going down to Cabardic watching down there. Just a good couple of hundred people watching that, and that was just a league game. It wasn't. I don't think it was for that. It was just people going out there, a good interest in it. So
do you have a good fan base like out here, like Finglas and that, like town. There's always people willing to go out and support the team, the local team.
Yeah. So
they had a lot of players, a lot of fans out there.
And out that way as well, it's just Kilbarrack, isn't it?
It's like the number one out
in
there.
In Killock, there's not really anyone really there, but just Kilbarrack, and then probably down the road a little bit is Killester. But other than anywhere else outside of them, it's like.
No, they had Raheny, but Raheny is not Kilbarrack.
Exactly,
if you want to play for. It's like comparing Sheriff Y.C to Sheriff United.
Yeah.
You're going to play for Kilbarrack, because that's the stronger team. And
of course.
So.
I think a lot of teams probably left the AUL because used to are so dominant. I think that's that. I'm not going to sniff at this. I think we're going to go in as a senior. I think so. It's your fault that he's ruined AUL.
Yeah. Blame that on Alan Riley.
Does any of them stick out for you, Anto?
I'll tell you one of them does. The FEI Cup we played in the first one in the Aviva. That was the same day as my kid's christening.
Right.
So you can only imagine what she's like at home. Like, you know what I mean? She's like, listen, the match was on at
2 o'clock or something, was it?
No, it was later than that, Nelson.
Like, the Irish game was on after that, and that kicked off around 8. So
what would that be? 4:30?
4, yeah.
And then my kid was supposed to get christened at 5 o'clock. Like, and I went into the priest in the church and said, listen, Father, I'm playing a big match. And
do you want to come?
I do tickets to you. I says, there's not any chance of putting the christening on till 7 o'clock, let's say, or whatever. He's like, well, we don't usually do this. The church is booked and stuff like that. I says, listen, it's a big game. I says, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, no problem. Sure, look what happened. The game went to extra time, didn't it?
I know, yeah.
So I'm over there in the Aviva.
Who's this against?
This is
Kilbarrack, right? Sorry, right.
In 2013. My kid was born in the January, so it's the Christmas in the June. June, I think, yeah. And he's like, brother, listen, come on. You know what I mean? He's like, okay.
He pushed it back for you.
A little brown bag for him, yourself, donation to the church. And he pushed it back, he did, but I said like 7 o'clock, let's say, or whatever time it was
just
supposed
giving
to be.
Yourself time.
Get home to Dart, to Conley Station, and walk around to the church, like, you know. But should have went to extra time and penalties and everything.
That's right, yeah.
And like,
what was the outcome of this?
The outcome was when I went home, there was big trouble in the house. But no, look, I got there on time, and anyway, and obviously we won. We beat Kilbarrack. I scored one of the penalties actually. We beat Kilbarrack. Dunner scored the winner that day.
Isn't it mad?
Sorry, was that
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, go ahead.
Isn't that why? Again, we're going back and talking about why we want to set up this podcast, like that. The love then you had for football, you're putting off like your family time. So you're going to the priest and saying, look, listen, just give me a few hours here. I've got a fucking important match here, like, and that's what you would have done for the game. Do you know what I mean? To try and just for you to enjoy that, and then rushing back, getting the dart, and getting to the church, like.
Well, I had like me good gear, like for the commute or the christening, like in the Aviva Stadium.
Yeah,
like,
like John Travolta.
Yourself, like, and I nearly would have said to Snaita, who's my partner, I would have said, Snaita, listen, cancel that.
Yeah.
And this is now like messing, because I'm not missing this
match.
No
chance.
Not a chance.
No chance.
Yeah. You said to Nelson.
What's that?
The story of Robbie O'Reilly do it?
Yeah, he missed his own. It was like yourself, Mr. Kristen. For the match. So that's how
That's who played with you. So Wefted,
that Robbie.
No, he managed that Wefted.
Yeah.
Oh, right, he managed. Did
he did the exact same thing as yourself there. Like, obviously, he probably got all picture notes down for a long time. But you put up with it though, because I said that's your love. You worked your heart and soul off all season to get to that pinnacle of the FA Junior, and you're not going to throw away for a stupid Christian.
No, that's what it was. Nelson. That's what like, you know what. Can we not get this pub off the next week and all? But the priest was understanding. Like, listen, I says, this is a big game. I says, like, we probably liked football actually. The priest. You know
I remember we went.
Or the brown envelope.
Or the 50 spot.
Yeah. we were in the pub there before, and we were going up to the Aviva, and we had a big poster.
Going to watch it.
Yeah, with Daz O'Brien, my one, all Trapattoni watching all. And as we came out of the pub, the sheriff bus pulls up, didn't he? So we're all pissed, fucking at the banner. Come on, the boys.
This is on the way to the Aviva, was it?
Yeah, he was on the way to the Aviva, and
Right,
we're outside the
right.
big huge banner and all that. But sure, from Fingers played against them about the week before, and I'm going celebrating.
Yeah, but he's your mate, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah, I just wanted to piss up. That's all. But it was great. Obviously it wasn't packed and that, but that little stand was packed, and you had Kavanagh on one side, and they're all giving me the 2-finger salute and come on and fight and all this and all this. Fucking the atmosphere was brilliant. There was already, yeah.
It was, yeah. It was a great day. I remember, like, obviously because it was my kid's christening, which was important as well. But like the atmosphere towards it, and it being in the Aviva, I can only imagine what it was like. You know, it's like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah,
we're playing in the Aviva Stadium here, like, you know. I'd be on over to watch Ireland all the time, and I was like, I'm actually playing here. I couldn't believe it. Like, none of us would at the first time, but then again, I'm not being cocky or anything. You kind of
adapted to it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I was like, you know what, this is like not comfortable here, but
no nerves.
Relaxed. Yeah. Exactly. Like, you know what I mean. The next time you'd be like, well, look, we played here last year, so it's not such a big deal. Now, obviously, it was a big deal. It was the Aviva Stadium, it's the national team, it's a home stadium, a home pitch, like, you know what I mean. But
there's players sent off in that game, wasn't there? So he was back to the walls for a lot of that.
Sent off in
the Aviva final.
Could have been Nelson, yeah. Could have been. It wasn't
Browner
me.
Sent off, was it?
Browner, yeah. Actually, sorry, do you know what? Yeah, David Brown was sent off, yeah.
So he's played a lot of the second half with 10 men.
If I'm right, I gave away a penalty in that game as well.
And John missed it, did he? Did John O'Malley take it? Or
John O'Malley missed
the penalty, didn't he?
Yeah, bang on all, yeah.
I'm one of the shootouts, sorry, John.
So he missed 2 penalties.
He missed 2 penalties, yeah.
Right, so I gave away a penalty, I think it was the same game, and then Browner must have got sent off, and then we probably gave away a penalty, whatever way it worked out. But we just stuck it in, like, you know what I mean, and dogged as we were, like, you know.
I think that's how good yous were, because I remember playing against yous a few times, and one of yous would have got sent off. Yous, when we were with Wefty, I can remember beating Sheriff when I was playing with the Valley, but I don't remember at all beating Sheriff Y.C when I was with Wefty, even as good as a team as we had with Wefty. And a couple of occasions yous had a man sent off and still bet us.
Yeah.
Like, still were out, and that's how good I think yous were as a team. That yous are still capable of beating a top team with 10 men to their 11 men.
Yeah, I'll give you a funny story. We drew just 1-1 out in the AUL day, and we made the paper because we drew. Yeah, it was look away for the draw for Mellows. Yeah,
right.
Things the first for Mellows. It was Collie was the manager. Yeah, we drew 1-0, and it was like we won the cup. It was crazy. Like, obviously we didn't celebrate a draw or anything there, but
yes, you
did.
No,
you get the draw off a good team. Yeah, you did.
You did. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
he probably celebrated with yours.
But yeah, but that's how big of you dropping points. How big it was. Like, I think he's had the league and all wrapped up, but it's still gone to the paper. Mighty Mellows team take points off joints or whatever they fucking word it. But it's fucking crazy like that. Many games would you have lost a season or?
How many games would you have lost a season when
I
very few, Nelson. That's very few. I couldn't tell you again like what exactly, but I wouldn't have said more than 5.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, more than 5. You know,
top.
We'd have the good games, like not saying good games. Games against Wefty were good. I knew all the lads. You know what I mean, from playing since we were young. But good games, you'd have like off Kilbarrack, Killester, Ballymun. Probably St. Kevin's, I don't know, but I never really liked playing against them, to be honest. I didn't, you know, there was something about that Kevin's that they were different to like the lads.
To any other
they were,
team or club, weren't they? Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I know you get that. I know exactly
I'd go up
what
there
you're
and say, like, these don't even like
belong here.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
I get you. Yeah,
and they wouldn't be like. I didn't really know any of the lads off Kevin's. I don't know.
There was nothing there.
There was nothing really there for me to say, right, listen, we have to beat these. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know Nelson, I know Alan Barrett, I know Como, I know Daz, I know Crockett, and I'm like, do you know what? You're going to grow up. You're going to say, listen, they ain't going to beat us today.
Yeah.
But with Kevin's, I can probably tell you, I probably never had a good game against Kevin's. Because there was nothing there for me.
Yeah,
you know, when I knew that I had to show
play
up.
On the edge.
Yeah, I had to play on the edge, 100%.
Aggressively and play against players you knew that you wanted.
That
were good enough and up for it.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That was my way, like, do you know what I mean? And then, like, we were playing against, like, average teams. I'd be probably, like, saying to myself, like, not saying to the manager, but saying, like, these ain't up to much. We'll beat these anyway. You know, that type of way. And I always got that impression with Kevin's that we could just beat them. Do you know what I mean? And there was nothing there, like, you know, so.
Did you get any trips away? Did you just win the league or anything?
We did, yeah. We got a few trips away. We went to Portugal, but we went with, don't know, Ballymun, Sandy Hill or
Sandy Hill, yeah. They won Premier B.
Sandy Hill, was it?
Sandy Hill won Premier B and you won Premier A.
Yeah, and you probably know the story there. We ended up getting sent home.
What exactly happened? Because you know the way the rumours all spread. And
Alan, to be honest with you, not a lot happened. You know what I mean? People are away, had to win the league, young.
Do you know what?
It's probably different. Five-star hotel, was it?
Sorry?
5-star hotel, was it?
We were in a village with like big golf course and all. I ended up getting on a golf buggy, driving around the golf buggy as if I was driving around where I live.
Yeah.
You know, like just enjoying myself. Like, you know, I wasn't mature enough to realise like this is. No, seriously, boys, I wasn't mature enough to say like this is like this is like
different. You have to be respectful.
You have to be respectful. Yeah, you know, like of where you are and stuff like that. You know. So I wouldn't. Sorry, Alan, I wouldn't say not a lot actually happened for us to be saying like, listen, you're going home. You know, we're 20 lads from town and 20 lads from Ballymun, trying to enjoy ourselves after. So I wouldn't say a lot happened, to be honest with you, but
like deep down, I was kind of. I think did they send you over to actually train and then play against each other first game of the season? Was it something like that?
It could have been, Al. We trained in the morning on this.
We trained over there because
we did, yeah.
That's what I gathered from it. That I think I remember obviously being around the.
Some of us trained.
Some of us did. But when you think about it,
on the golf cart with Dr. Dre Blair.
What were the AUL thinking, right? A gang of young lads playing for Sheriff and a gang of young lads playing for Sandy Hill and sending them to a hot country where they're able to.
But it was the golf course, probably like €3,000 bleeding membership or something that send them into there. Like,
this is a beautiful place.
And
did it turn into a bit of a drinking kind of session, or did it?
I'm saying in the evening time, like, you know, like the lads go out with a few drinks, like which is only normal, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Away on holidays type of thing.
Yeah.
But the lads would enjoy probably Benidorm
more.
Better.
Yeah,
just give them a holiday.
Wherever it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this was like a really, really, really nice place. I can't remember the name of it, but it was villas, you know. So we had us three here now had a villa, them three there had a villa, and then it was like blinds, electric blinds, and you know, it was top of the range place, like, you know. So I don't know exactly what happened or what went on, but we got sent home. But it was blown out of proportion. Yeah. In my opinion, now.
How many days into it was it?
Could have been 2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 days.
I think it was there for 5 days, maybe a week, and after 2 or 3 days, we were off. You went back home. She was like, "Oh, you're home already."
I missed you. I'm making up for the Christmas.
You know, like that. But yeah, no, we had a few trips away. We did. Yeah, we always had like, you know, good trips away. But then we the club end up giving trips away to not giving trips away. Like, you'd win the league and whatever the club got for them, the lads give a few quid and all, but I never went on them.
I think that was the Benidorm you went to, wasn't it?
Yeah, I never went. I wasn't into, you know, Benidorm.
If you don't drink,
don't drink. No. I wasn't into going to Benidorm. You know, like if the other said, well, listen, we're going to watch United playing Arsenal, I was in. But not Benidorm. That's not my cup of tea. You know, that type of way. It's not my scene. No.
Yeah. So when Alan comes in, then do you know what way it went? Like, did you just win a league and then get a cup, or was it like did you just win it like the 4 straight away? What way?
I think we won 3.
For the treble first.
Yeah.
What would that have been?
The league, Nivea, and let's say the Liddy Cup maybe or something like that. No, it wasn't the Leinster Junior. No, because that came late, I think. So the 3, the league cup, the Nivea, and the AOL.
Yeah, the treble, you know,
basically. The treble, of what you could win. Exactly.
And
but it was, you could see the step ups, you know, like the step up in attitude. Everybody's attitude was like, listen, we're winning here. And again, I didn't know what FAI Junior Cup was. If I'm being quite honest here, I didn't know. And then I think Ballymun won it. Did he? Ballymun won it with Davey and all playing up front and whatever in Tulga Park. And I went to watch that game. I was like, Jesus, this is something else.
This is big.
Yeah. And that kind of got me like saying, in my own head again, saying, listen, wouldn't mind winning one of them, like, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
So how were you playing yourself? Like, obviously, I know you were playing your top of your game. So obviously, the junior international call comes in around that time.
Junior international came in again. I was probably saying it to you later on that Jerry rang me. I was announced into the team or whatever way they used to do it.
Who was in charge now? Jerry Smith, Jerry Davis.
Jerry Davis. Again, Alan.
Jerry Smith was the manager and Jerry Davis was
it could have been Jerry Davis
years,
or Jerry Smith, and then Jerry Davis was his underling there. It could have been that way, like, do you know what I mean? But My partner was pregnant on my kid, like, you know, and she was going to the Rotunda for the scan, and we were going to play against Northern Ireland, and I was like, listen, my partner's going in for a scan at 9 in the morning. We should be out there by 11, half 11, but can I drive up? And Snape, my partner, was willing to drive us up and meet him there, say at lunchtime, you know. He says, no, you can't do that. No, he wasn't having it, no.
Wanted you to travel with the team.
Yeah, and I wasn't in Alan going to, my baby's first scan.
You ain't going to miss it.
My partner. And then have to listen for the rest of my life saying, you missed his first scan, you know, so it wouldn't have been more than. Yeah, and he said, you know what I mean, like, come on, there's only so much, you know what I mean, there's only so much, like, but no, listen, that was the case, and I said, Jerry, listen, I will make it up, there's no problem there, 100% I'm in, and he says, no, he says, listen, we want everybody to meet, I think it was AOL they used to meet, was it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I
was like, but look, I can't do it, thanks very much, and that was it, like, you know what I mean, so it was like, no problem, and so it took me like years later then to
did
get
it? Yeah, he left you alone,
and it wasn't like out of ignorance, I don't think, because I like Jerry, you know, I said this to Nelson already, I like him because he was a good man and he's a nice person.
Yeah, everyone said that he's a good lad.
He's a nice person, like, you know, I've met him since, and I've met him outside football, and met him over in the Aviva, and he's a lovely bloke, like, you know, he's real, you can chat to him about whatever, football, life, you know, I like people like that.
We could get him on the podcast,
it would, either of them on, Jerry Smith or Jerry Davis.
Yeah, two good lads, like,
football man,
yeah, proper football man, you know, and you can't knock them for what they've done, like, you know, with the junior game, like, you know what I mean, so.
Well, top managers, top coaches in working for the FAI, doing great things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, like, you know, well, it took me, Alan, and it took me a good while to even, but you know what, I'll say this, like, you know, that FAI or the AOL or any of that never bothered me.
Yeah,
you know,
it seemed like that now listening to you never weren't, you didn't really kind of.
No, it's not that I didn't care. It's just it didn't. Like, I was asked out to the AOL, and I think again, I don't know who the manager was at the time, but like, I was like,
Damon Wilkins probably
Damon Wilkins could have been Nelson, and I was like, do you know what? This is not. So, and again, probably because I wouldn't have felt comfortable in that environment, you know what I mean? Like,
you like being surrounded by your own, don't you?
I like my own company. Like, now I do. I like my own company now. Like, you know, but I would have said with lads I'm at the being banging into the likes of yourselves or Crockett or whoever. The lads would have known I was all right, but then playing against lads for Kevin's sake, that wouldn't have been sitting right with me. I would have felt a little bit uncomfortable.
Didn't appeal to you really.
Yeah. Do you know, like that, like playing against one or two, it wouldn't have set right with me. I would have been fairly uncomfortable. It would have been awkward. And I says, you know what, this is not something that I need to be doing. Like, you know what I mean? So I never done it. And
that's how we got in.
That's how we got in.
Bring in Plan
B. He'll do a job. You know. Well, no, again, as I said, boys, it never bothered me that I didn't play for AOL or anything like that. And I played a few games, you know. I think Peter Lynch, you know Peter? Peter's a nice fella, Peter. Like, he says, Anto, come out. And I was like, all right, Peter, you know. That type of attitude. It wasn't like, oh, thanks, Peter. I was like, yeah, and then I wouldn't go out then, you know. So I left that kind of to the side, and then I think the clicks, like in clubs, like, you know, was more for that island thing then, you know, like, so. Yeah. And then obviously I wasn't going to be playing because I wasn't in that clique at the AOL, like, I wasn't invited up to the train and all of that like that. So again, it didn't bother me because I was happy enough playing for Sheriff, winning and being in my comfort zone, in my own environment.
That's how strong you were. Like, he's literally, even though few you like yourself don't want to play, but still young Kabardic.
Who were you playing with then, Nelson? Were you with Wefta then?
Wefta,
yeah. Was Crocker playing for Wefta at that time with you as well? Was he?
I think he'd gone, had he?
Would he? Yeah.
Crocker would have probably been at Tolka at that stage.
Was he? Yeah.
We were in the it was 1 year, I think, when the year after I was in the AOL team, when Jerry Davis took over. I actually didn't get into it then when Jerry Davis took over. It was actually funny because I had Jerry Davis schoolboy, and then when he was with Moctus, when Moctus were down the leagues, he was trying to get me out to Moctus, and then when he took over, I was like, that's lovely, that's me
it,
back
yeah.
Happy day.
That's the click you were talking about.
Yeah, that's what, like, you know where I'm coming from, boys. You know, like, that's what kind of things happen. Like, you know what I mean? He plays for Kevin, so Jerry's managing Kevin. Do you remember he managed Kevin, and there was like this fella and that fella and that fella, and that's what happens, isn't it? Like, you know, and that's goes on each their own. It happens in football. It happens since I was a kid. Like, you know?
Back then you're kind of going, oh, for fuck's sake, because I was seeing like you,
Graham Dorn and
Crockett, Spanky, Daz and all that, and you're kind of going, fuck's sake, I wouldn't want to be out there. You know what I mean? There you go, different personalities. You weren't in the week, I was kind of, and that's just the way it goes.
Graham Dordan, did you ever see
Remember Graham?
I started, funny story, I left school and I started an apprenticeship plumbing with Graham Dordan.
Graham was a plumber, yeah.
For Lynch's out in Fonthill Industrial Estate. The two was around the aquatic centre. And he was the guy who played for Tolga Rovers. He played for Tolga.
Yeah, he played for Tolga.
I was like, I played for Belvo or whatever the case was. And
yeah,
saw him yesterday. Was
He's Australian.
He's Australian. Saw him yesterday.
Nice lad, Graham. Look, Graham.
He had a great year with us that first year he signed for West, and he was smashing.
Oh, he's a good player.
Smashing. He played centre half with Nelson, and they were one of the two best centre halves in the league that year. I think he got a few call up, didn't he? He ended up getting a cap, I think, against Northern Ireland.
Did he? Yeah, Graham. Yeah, he was a good player, Graham. He's solid, big lad. Like, you know,
I said he could play football as well, though. You know,
and he could. Sometimes he could pass the ball and head the ball like a professional footballer.
Yeah, he had that about him. He did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So so it took probably a year or two down the line, did it then, to get a call up? Yeah,
long time, like, you know. And again, as I said, it didn't bother me, like, you know what I mean, because I was playing for Sheriff. We were winning everything. There was a lot of attention on that team and stuff like that, and all the lads were getting in, and I was delighted for them. You know what I mean? Best of luck, boys. Do what you have to do, like, you know what I mean. So again, didn't bother me, but I got called up again to play against Northern Ireland. Was that being injured? I was. Something on my knee, whatever. I had a little bit of a cruciate injury, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna say no again. And this fella will think like that. This is just something that he just does, like, you know what I mean. So I went down and played, and ended up playing in Tolka Park. It was so. The lad up front of Northern Ireland, big fella, strong, matched up to him, done well, dominating the game. Jerry says, "Listen," he said, "fair play to you," he says. You done really well there, like, you know what I mean. I says, thanks very much. Myself, Dane O'Carpenter, was playing left full, and we went to be playing against Collinstown, and I was like, Dane, get away, and, you know, Dane, you're this. He's saying, yeah, Anto, you're this. And I was like, and I didn't know Dane at the time, like, and I know him now. I know him very well now, like, you know. And in the dressing room, you know what, he was great. Yeah, over, straight over. What's the story?
He's like that, Dane, isn't
stuck
he?
Into this, you know what I mean? And I was like, you know what, Dane, fair play to you, because I wouldn't have went off and said, Dane, not that I had that against him, it just wasn't in.
It's the rivalry, isn't it?
It wasn't Club in rivalry. Me. Exactly. It wasn't in me to say, listen, Dane, best of luck. Stuck into this today.
You just
back into the rub. I just kept myself to myself, you know what I mean?
Like
but he went out of his way. Not out of his way. He went over, Anto, listen, you get stuck in here today. I was on the left side centre half, he was left full. Brilliant he was. And I have to say this, and I always say to, like, people, I didn't think he was a good player. And I heard someone else, was that Git Barber saying that, was it? Saying like that he was a good player and this and that on that podcast. I didn't think Dane Carter was a good player.
Did you not know?
No. I thought Joe Neal's a good player because I played with Joe. I thought Kevin Lynch is a good left winger. But when I played with him that day, he kind of changed my opinion of him. He done very well, like, you know. So, that was my first cap. That was in whenever it was. And done well, like, you know. And then a while later, I got another call up, and so... Like, it was what it was. We played in the tournament over in Scotland. Me and Paulie were off. Sheriff, I don't know who else was there. Bucko and that lad up front, Donnelly, Stale Donnelly off Usher. That was it. Then I just said, you know what? I didn't really enjoy it being away in Scotland. To be honest with you, I didn't enjoy it.
Sounded like home board, didn't he?
Yeah, no, I like
you wanted that game to be in Crow Park.
You know, I like knowing like where and. Again, comfortable. I like to be comfortable in where I am. You know what I mean? Like, and there was lads. Nothing against them. The lads is off Michaels and stuff like that. And again, you're getting stuck into these lads, and you're like, and sometimes I felt a little bit awkward sitting with these people. You know what I mean? And
it's good hearing that. And that's
the way I am. Like, you know what I mean? If I don't really know somebody and I'm in their company, like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be like the way I am here now because I know you boys, but you know, I was like, just keep yourself, and don't let art out here. You know what I mean? Kind of masking everything up, like, you know what I mean? Instead of saying, right, listen, how's it going, Higgy? Because your man Higgins was sound. And, but that was me, like, and then I just done that, played over there in quadrangular tournament. And that was it then. That was the last couple of caps. But I said to Jerry after, I says, listen, and he said, Anto, he said, you were brilliant, you were exceptional, you played very well in the Northern Ireland game. He says, set up a goal in the Isle of Man game. He said, like, you didn't put a foot wrong. He said, like, but that's just the way it was, and that was the end of that then, you know. Again, didn't bother me like that because it wasn't one thing that I wanted to do, but when I did do it, I gave it everything I had, like, you know.
And did you enjoy it?
I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy being away. No,
Right.
I didn't.
Just being away. That was the main.
Yeah,
thing
like if this tournament was in Ireland, like, you know what I mean, I would have had this, because I got this energy about football. Like sometimes, like, I had to be roiled up a little bit, not roiled up, but, you know, get myself going in my own head.
Point to prove.
Basically a point to prove, and this is in Scotland. There's no one watching it, so like. It means kind of like just play the game and
just a game of football.
Yeah,
it's
like,
it means
like
something.
20 blokes who I know, and my ma and my sister and my Sneed and my kid is out. Then you're like, listen, it's game on here. You're not going to let these down, like, you know. But there was no one really at it, and I didn't really get that fire in my belly for it.
Would you suffer much with like self-doubt and confidence in football? Would you?
100%.
Yeah.
And
you did.
Oh, I did, yeah.
I've never seen you have a bad game. Well, obviously, but watching it, never seen you have a bad game. Like,
you'd have never struck me as that by playing against you and seeing you play.
Do you know what about football? The thing was, like, I'd say to myself, right, I'm playing against, right, let's say Dino, for instance, right, and I'd say I'm gonna give it to Dino today in my own head, but they'd be probably saying, well, I'm gonna give it to Anto today. So I'd be thinking, right, listen, what am I gonna do to get the better of him today? You know what I mean? Or Jero, or Keith Kerwin, or Davey Kane, like, you know what I mean? I always had the, you know what I mean, a doubt. Saying, like, can I get the better of him today? But then when on the pitch, then that just went. It's like, so the 2 days before, I was saying playing against Ballymun, I'd be like, right, Davey Kane, the build up of it, and then when I went on the pitch, that went.
You leave everything when they cross that line, everything else goes, because you have control of it.
Yeah,
and it's in your mind. But all that thinking, you can't really have a chance to think about it, because you're playing football, you're switched on to football, you're concentrated on football. So all that shit that you've been thinking about the day before, probably getting butterflies and everything else, that's gone.
It's a great outlet, isn't it? Football for us.
100%. It released the energies that I had in me. That was good energies and bad energies, because I had a lot of bad energies thinking about stuff that I shouldn't have been thinking about, and put my mind into things that I shouldn't have been really worried about, because they were all in the past. You know what I mean? So like, I'd be like, right, that's it. It's over now. Go out on the pitch, and that was a release for me. Like, you know, it was 100%. Like, you know, and that's what I love about football. Like, and I loved it. It let me express things in a different way. Now, sometimes I express them in ways I shouldn't have been, but I couldn't control that. That just came out.
Yeah, but that's the way. That's the player you're with. You know what I mean? It's the same. You think about other people who played against aggressive people, and that's just the way they had to be. They had to play on the edge.
Yeah,
had to be aggressive, had to be a little bit dirty.
That's and you know,
but not maliciously dirty.
No,
do you know what I mean? Just leave something in.
Just leave something in. Like, let them know that they are. Like, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, and I wouldn't. And the lads will tell you that I wouldn't be like that, like, outside of football.
Yeah.
Like, you know, listen, boy, I know the boys a long time, and I'd never carry that outside of football, like, you know. Yeah, but you know, like, and I'll say this again, the boys, and you know, like, I never worried about playing against players. I always said to myself, I'm better than him. I'm better than him. To myself. Now, I wouldn't say to Paulie, listen, Paulie, I'm better than him, so don't worry.
But you'd have thrived on the occasion.
Alan, the bigger the game, the better I played. And that was, honest to God, like, Alan Riley would tell you this. Yeah, Alan on here, you meet Alan on the street. If I was playing against a team that was, I'm not saying rubbish, because they were everyone's trying to do the same thing, you're trying to win a game, but you know, when you were in a proper big game, I step up to the mark all the time, no problem. You know, like that. Every single game. There's not, I can count on one hand or two hands how many times I actually played a bad big game. Yeah. Like honestly, finals. Never played it. Never. I got sent off one time against Collinstown again. There was stuff in my head, and I was frustrated about it. Stuff away from football, and I just lashed out against Collinstown. It was what it was. It is what it is. It's done now. But in the big games, I never let myself down. Never. It wouldn't sit right with me, you know, like that.
Like what Nelson said. Like I feel the same way as well. Anytime I watched you or played against you, I never really seen you have a bad game at all.
No, I like.
So obviously, you have your own standards, and you probably go home. Geez, that pass or that tackle in your own head, but outside looking in.
That's why I go home and I wouldn't sleep.
Yeah,
till 4 in the morning and all. Honest to God, Al, true as God, I wouldn't sleep with, you know, like, frustration, and then with excitement, like after winning FEI juniors or winning, but that wasn't shown. And
not drinking as well is not that's people kind of release and kind of go and have a few drinks, and they fucking obviously fall asleep after these drinks. But
I wouldn't. Like, we won an FEI junior cup, I don't know who we were playing against, and the next day I was up watching a Leinster junior final or however, and like, I was talking to, John Mack. John Baldy headed John. He's involved with the FAI and the AOL and all that. John Mack. He's one of them up at Kevin's. He is.
One of them up at Kevin's.
One of the coaches or something up there. He's whacking all on well. He's sound John, but I was up the next day and they were like, so I didn't have any drink. I just went home and I done whatever I did at home, and then that was me back out, So, but the excitement sometimes brought me to, I don't know, to nearly drive me insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, honestly, yeah.
A little bit of OCD there, is there?
Sorry?
A little bit of OCD or something, is it?
Not OCD, it's there's something in. I'm not built like everybody else. I know that now through speaking to people who have went to speak about other stuff in my life, but I'm not built like everybody else. I'm built different. So that excitement would carry on for me 2 days and 3 days. Yeah,
it's something you
love. It was
nearly
driving me insane. And I spoke to a woman about it. Anto Kavanagh put me in touch.
Sorry for cutting across.
No, go ahead, Al.
What was it that it was kind of driving you, or
trying to get perfection?
What was affecting you? The football?
No, not the football. The things that I thought that I should have been doing. What I mean? Yeah, or I would have an argument on the pitch with people. I'd be thinking about it at home and all. What was that all about, Anto? You know what I mean? There's no need for that. Going deep into it, and
it's
then
mad, something you love so much, fucking can drive you insane.
It drove me. It was driving me insane at some stages, And I said to Anto Kavanagh, I says, what's the story here? He says, there's too much passion and everything else. He says, and you don't know how to
control it.
Yeah, I didn't know how to control it. So in the end, now years later, now I know how to control everything. I'm in a good place.
Very good.
You know what I mean? Where nothing really gets me up there, nothing really gets me down there. It's all on a level key now, So
that's great to hear.
Yeah, it was tough, to sleep and all, boys. We get about 4 in the morning and I'll be going out and she'd be like, where are you going? I said, I can't sleep.
Yeah, you have to get out.
Yeah, I have to just get up, you know what I mean? Because I'd be bleeding driving home mad.
Jesus, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah. So many things and so many different.
But people wouldn't have known. Sorry, Alan. People wouldn't have known that. People would say,
I've never seen that.
Anto, he probably just went out to drink after that, but that was not the case with me. You know what I mean? There was other things where some boys went drinking, I went home and done whatever I did at home. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was it. But I'm glad all that is gone now.
It's good that you can control it now.
Yeah, geez, I couldn't live like that now. I couldn't. It drive me insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where you kind of vent now, kind of through the gym and that, because I'm spoken to you, you said you're in the gym.
Yeah, I go down to try train. The lads know to try train. The boys down there, all the lads go down there, you know what I mean? But I also train outdoors. And the summer I train at the Phoenix Park, or do a bit of running, or go walking with dogs or whatever.
So you're replacing the football with the gym because you need something to kind of challenge your mind and keep.
No, do you know what, Nelson? I'll never replace football.
I'm dreading
for what I got out of it, but I don't miss football, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm dreading the day now that I'll give it up. I think I'll miss something terrible.
Yeah,
I'll say I'll miss something
and
terrible.
I heard Davey saying something again. I don't know, it was Skip Barber saying it, but that was a time in my life where it was a time in my life and I played football and done well out of football, but that's in the past now, you know what I mean?
You're over it. Yeah.
Because if I carried everything from the past in my head again, I wouldn't be able to live the way I live now.
Yeah.
And I live good now,
Yeah,
so,
very good.
Yeah.
So when did it all kind of come to a stop for you? After winning all these trophies, did it get a little bit did you ever get the attitude to this is getting a bit boring?
I got bored now.
Did it really?
I did, yeah. It got bored, and again in my head, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was this is not
not competitive enough.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't competitive enough, and there was teams folding in the AOL. You just go out and you beat them, and it didn't have the same feeling as it did probably the 4 years when you're chasing that feeling. When you're chasing that, that. So you're going out and you're playing against maybe 4 good matches, 6 good matches, and the rest then it was this doesn't really. And that's when I kind of Alan Riley, and Alan was great with me. Alan was 100,000,000% with me. He'd know me, and I knew Alan again since I was a kid. I knew Alan a long time. But he'd say, "Listen, Anto, I'm gonna leave you out today because we're playing against X, Y, or Z. But next week or the week after, head on." And that's what he used to just say to me, head on, because he knew it was all in my head.
And he knew he had to do that with you. And give him a little heads
up.
Because
I'd be probably doing stuff I shouldn't have been done at the back. You know what I mean? Taking 2 or 3 extra touches, trying to play a ball I shouldn't have played. Trying to carry that ball in the midfield where,
you're getting a little bit bored.
Getting a bit bored and trying to excite myself. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
That stage, Ballymun has gone less senior, Kevin's gone less senior, Clester has gone less senior, so they the league had diluted itself down to kind of not as competitive for you. So as you said, you're going out and smashing teams. So it was only using Kavanagh at that stage.
Yeah, I got bored now. Yeah. Honestly, it did. Like, you know, and they shouldn't have really let that happen. Like, you know what I mean? They should have, AOL should have tried to keep. I don't know if you can or you can't. I don't know what way that works, but should have said, right, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring all these teams in and we're going to make another 5 teams come in and they're going to be competitive. That makes the league competitive. And then we're going to add another cup where other teams will say, well, listen, we have a chance to win this cup now because Sheriff is going to concentrate on that cup. Do you know what I'm saying? Or not just Sheriff, whoever the dominated team was at the time. But they never done that. No. They just let use go, and that was it then. That was the end of the AOL, really, wasn't it?
And then it faded then,
It did, it went off, like, you know what I mean?
I think they're trying to work on hard now to try to get back to what it was, but I think they're a good couple of years away from doing that. And
I hope it does, like, you know, I hope all amateur football. I like football, like, you know what I mean? But I just don't want to play football, you know, as I told Nelson there, like, earlier on as well, just before you come in, like, I don't want to play football. I can play football.
You have no interest in playing 35s or anything?
No, I'll never play 35s. Yeah. I think, and no disrespect to 35s, I think you could play that when you're 40.
Yeah, good shout that is, yeah.
I do, I really do. You know, 40 odd, like, and there's nothing in it for me that says, right, listen, go and play 35s and get something out of it. There's nothing in it for me. Yeah. You know, and I need to be having something to make me want to play. Do you know if that makes any sense? Yeah, no, I need to, like, there has to be something there, right? Jesus, that's a goal, maybe. Because I set goals for myself now, you know what I mean? That's the way I work life, you know, I always have a little target.
Yeah, something to kick on.
Yeah, 100%. I have to, you know what I mean? Or else I get distracted and it takes me back to the old ways. But, you know what I mean?
Pretty good, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to play 35s. No. I actually went down and done a bit of coaching at East Wall.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Well, Anto. Like, Anto was great for me, you know what I mean? I've high respect for Anto. Like, he's a fucking great bloke.
Yeah,
you know? Excuse me language, but he's done a lot for me, you know what I mean? Through years, through other stuff outside of football and anything like that. So I went down and done a bit of coaching down there. Again, my son was playing Gaelic football at the time and he was trying to find these little hobbies and stuff. I know he was going Tuesday, Thursday, training at 6:30, 7. And it was a little bit time consuming. So I says, look, Anto, I don't have the time for this. And that's just the way that was, but I don't know how he does it. Like, you know, Anto, it's a lot of commitment.
Yeah, he put a lot in.
He does.
Would you step back in yourself a bit, mentioned, or would you?
Well, like,
be interested?
Do you know what? I love Belvo, right? There's something about Belvo, like, that I love. The club, the people in the club, and, you know, I love that club. I always wanted to play for Belvo, you know what I mean? But if I got the chance, when my son is a bit older and he finds his own little ways now, he has his little hobbies now and stuff. But if I got the chance, I'd love to go down and do a little bit with Belvo. Yeah, I would. Yeah. I'd like to give something back to Belvo. I would, 100%, because I love that club. Everything he done for me when I was younger, like, you know what I mean? With Danny Kenny, God rest him, he looked out for me, you know what I mean? Big time, like, you know? And I'd love to go down there and just give a little bit back, even if it was just putting on a few sessions with the kids and stuff. I mean, nephew plays down there, and, you know, like, so.
Do you all know you didn't fucking respect it down there?
Yeah, I go down and watch them down the Distillery. You know the Distillery Road there? They back at Clonliffe Road at Crow Park there. I go down there some nights when I'm walking my dog and just walk and have a look around, and seeing Derek O'Brien there a few weeks ago. It was funny. And we were talking about it, and you actually just brought this up on the podcast, so I don't know, Derek said it to me, but do you remember under 18s you played for Wefton, did you, Nelson? So I think you were saying you won the league, or somebody won the league, did you?
We won in 16s, under 16s,
16s, right. So I was playing for Belvo. Last year we were playing to win the league. I don't know who we were playing. I don't know who was in for the league. But I ended up scoring a hat-trick in Stella Maris pitch where, you know, Stella down there, down the, whatever, down where Harvick play. Yeah. I scored a hat-trick because there was people coming to watch the game, and I says, again, I can't let people down here. You know what I mean? There was proper, like...
From centre half now?
From centre half. I scored a hat-trick. I scored a header on Nelson from 20 yards against... I think it must have been Stella we were playing against.
Must have been, yeah.
I don't know. It was... Get Barber probably know. Like, if you, I don't know, but I scored a header from 20 yards. The keeper was always 9, and the ball bounced. Just, you know, a nice bounce, and it just bang over his head. That was the third goal, the header. The fourth goal, the ball came into me, and I just put the thing into the top corner.
He just had
as a centre half. Like, I got that excitement to me. Like, you know, my brother was there, my family was there. There was and Derek O'Brien and Danny Kenny. I was like, I can't let these people down. And Danny, there was a circle after the game. He won the league or whatever.
You just won 18s, did you?
18s, I think it was.
Because we thought it was Cherry Orchard, but obviously it was yours.
I think it must have been the Orchard for
seven
or whatever it was, Nelson. But we won it anyway.
I think that answers Git's question, because Git had a question and said, remember Gis said, I think Belvedere folded, and you were kind of adamant saying no, they were still there. So obviously that's Git's question answered.
Yeah, I remember
so
Git was saying that this is why that's why that came into my head.
Mind,
yeah.
So,
but DOB, Derek O'Brien, he said this to me a few months ago down on Distillery Road. He says, Anto, he says, remember that day? He says, like, what was
bring you back to that.
Yeah, and I got excited again. Like, you know, I was laughing. I said, Derek, like, he says, yeah, it scored a header from 20 yards, like, you know. But it just bounced right, you know, like, and I just put my head on it, just lobbed out the keeper, like. But
what score that match finishing anyway?
I think it was 3-2 or 3-1.
So
it was a real like,
you were the winner of the match.
Yeah, I won. But after the game, I felt as Joe's got. I felt 20 feet tall.
It's brilliant.
After the game, Danny Kenny, God rest him, he come on, and Derek O'Brien, he said all the other lads in the team, see, only for him, he says, you would have won nothing. Yeah. And I was like,
Do you know what?
Man here, like,
isn't it a great feeling? That feeling that you're saying you have, right? And what football gives you, because I've often came out of games, well, not often, but seldom, but you know, and you know you're not having a really, really good game, and everyone says, like say, Anto Bleeding scored a hat-trick, he fucking brilliant that day. You're sitting at home that night on the sofa, had on a few occasions, knowing that you dominated a game and you got a great win or something. You sit back on the sofa and you're just going, what a feeling.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Honestly, you can't buy it,
you can't. That's what football gives us.
Me. And that, sometimes when I like, you know, when you lose that little bit. But that day, and like Derek actually reminded me, he says, Anto, he says, oh Jesus, Derek, remember down there like in Stella? It was an old grass pitch. You probably played on yourself, boys.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
It was a good little pitch, like, it was a bit of like a little wall around it.
Yeah, it was grass at that time.
Different. It was grass at the time, yeah. And Derek O'Brien, he says, remember you scored a hat-trick, like, you know? So that was what Git was saying or whatever. Belvo, them lads came in from River Valley.
Yeah, Tiddler and all that.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And that's that. Then we won that league that year then, and that was, I think it was 17s or 18s then, I'm not sure, mate.
Because remember, it was, well, we played, because I was saying the game.
Sorry for interrupting you, it was the year, I think we beat you in Fairview 7-0.
Yeah, exactly.
You were right, 17s.
I have that cut out in my house.
It was 17s.
We're the white jerseys.
Under
17s. Not Jared, what was his name was playing up front for you? The Gate was talking about, he said he was a good player.
Doyle, I know.
Barry Doyle,
yeah.
That's right. Barry Doyle was playing, yeah. So,
because we only got the new jersey, we thought about the business, the white Nike yokes and all, it looked fresh and all. We got them 7-0.
After winning the league,
and he probably got players in, like.
My as I told you, my man has cutouts from everything up in the house, in her house.
Send them on to us there, and we'll put them up. We'll put them up
7-0. I don't know who I sent it to. I think I could have sent it to Como a while ago.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Great to have, Anto, aren't they? Them put out to the paper.
I think Como sent it on to me, then I think he did.
I think I sent that to Como.
Yeah.
So I sent it to somebody, like, you know. But we did. We beat you 7-0. So that was. I don't know if Git was playing in that game, but the picture will tell.
Yeah, exactly. You know
yeah,
he was all over.
You know, but you know, like, that was the good. They were good days, like, you know. Yeah. But as I said, I'd like to give something back to Belvo. No, just even if it's just something like just to go down and put a session on and have a little, you know.
Do you know what would be great for that? Sorry, it would be great for that because you haven't got the time, you need to keep yourself active, and your kids doing is rock climbing, and you're bringing them to these things, and you don't really want to get involved and throw all your eggs into one basket with coaching or go back playing or anything. I think with a schoolboy team where you're at the playing schoolboy football, the door will probably be always open for you because you are there, and that you can say, look, can I come in and do a session here?
So can I do a session in the league, but
there you go. Do you know what I mean? So it'd probably be a nice little fit for you.
Sorry, Alan, that's the type of club Belvo would be. You know, like you see all the lads down there now, they're all ex-Belvo players. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a great club. I love Belvo. I love that club. There's something about that club that I love.
Yeah,
you know, I do. I love the club.
That's your club, as we always say. You have to be mine.
Like, even though I only played like maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 seasons there, but there was always something about me wanting to play for Belvo.
It's just want to ask you, is there obviously people, I always say a couple of years with Weft, was one of my happiest times playing football. So your happiest times, would it be your schoolboy football, would be your happiest times, or would it be when you're at your pump in the...
No, I'd probably say playing for Belvo.
Yeah.
I know we won everything with Sheriff and all, and that's unbelievable. There was something about playing for Belvo. Like, I went to school with lads in Rossmini. You know Rossmini there in Grace Park Road?
Yeah.
There was like Kieran Sharkey. You know Kieran Sharkey? It's unbelievable schoolboy footballer. Right full. Played all the Ireland teams. Played with Bradza, all these. Anto Martin, central defender, went to play with Blackburn Rovers. He was in my school in Rossmini. That lad Chucky off Tolka Rovers, on garbage, Ronan. Now he was a bit older than me. He's probably about 40 odd.
Yeah, I'd say so. He's a bit older than us. Yeah,
he was like an unbelievable player.
Very good,
in school he was, Alan. Yeah, and so it was me, Sharky, Anto Martin, and Chucky. That was our school defence. Then you'd have like There's a couple of lads off home farm. You know, like all that type of players. Like, but
top players, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just unbelievable skill. But the skill team was ridiculous, like, you know. But me playing for Belvo and then playing for Belvo, like, you know, meant something.
Yeah.
You know, if that makes any sense, like it did. It meant something for me.
Yeah, you have a connection with the club.
I was always wanting to play for Belvo, like, you know what I mean? When I was playing for Shells, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go and try out for Belvo. I'm thinking to get a game here and all. And then the year changed, so it was January, so it suited me.
Yeah.
You're in there. And then it just kicked on from there, like, you know.
Yeah, very good, yeah.
But I don't know what would have happened if I didn't have played for Belvo. Or if I hadn't have, if I hadn't have played for Belvo, I don't know, I would have just, like, probably not played, because I think, like, Shells finished after 2 or 3 years, like, so we don't know, like, you know.
You never know what happened, but listen, you did, so, and you got a good career out of it as well.
Yeah,
you
what a
pushed
career
on,
you had. Like, winning everything in the junior game is no fluke. Do you know what I mean? And what a team to do with, like, is really where the dominant force for.
There was serious commitment put down,
big time,
for them that period of time. You know, unbelievable. Like, honestly, boys, you know.
Would you change anything there at all? Would you?
Would I change anything about playing football, or would I change anything about the way I played football? Or
no, just playing football, like
the pathway like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Nelson? I don't have, like, I can't live with regret, because it's not the way I live my life now. You know what I mean? I don't live with regrets, or I don't live in the past. I live now the way I live.
Present.
Yeah, I do well. Yeah, I try and be here now and do what I do now, and not worry about stuff that went on.
Why worry about something
that
you're not in control of?
But it took me years to realise that. You know, I had to go and speak to a guy about it again. Anto Kavanagh says, listen, go down to this fella. He's a good guy. And I was like, well, I have this regret, I have that regret. When did it happen? 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was a kid. I was involved in an incident, 16 years of age. So that was like 20, maybe not 20, 18 years previous to it. He's like, how can you live like that?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's just the way I am. And he's like, well, listen, he says, do this, do that, do the right things for a change. Because I couldn't have done some things that I shouldn't have done, like, you know, the wrong ways of doing things, but it was my way of dealing with.
Yeah, other things.
Yeah. He was like, you know what? He says, listen, he said, son, he says, you're a good person, I can tell that. He says, blah, blah, blah. Just try and do things this way. And I do them that way.
And it's working for you.
It's like the weight of the world just come off my shoulders. And only for Anto Kavanagh, not only for Anto Kavanagh, but
he helped.
You know what I mean?
For yourself though, because you're the one that realised that I need to go talk to someone, because a lot of other people just hold it in and would go off that fucking head
and explode then.
Yeah,
and the wrong way.
Then the lid comes off, like, you know what I mean? But my lid didn't come off, thanks be to God.
You identified that yourself. That listen, I need to go talk to someone.
I knew. I always knew this.
That's a very strong mentality to have, Anto, to be able to be bottling all that up inside.
But that was since 16 years of age, like, till what? So about 17, 18 years around that, like, do you know what I mean? And like, I had enough of it, like, you know what I mean? I was like, there was a mask.
And you wanted to do something about it.
Yeah. And then the mask just dropped. And now I am who I am. I'm comfortable with what I do, comfortable with who I am. We all make mistakes. No one's perfect. So, you know, it's good like that. You know what I mean?
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
Brilliant.
But I wouldn't change anything else in football, if that's the question. So
yeah,
you went off a little bit there.
No, just
that's
glad you did there, to be honest, because that was nice.
I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change nothing. But I would have liked to think that you would have got a better chance at football, like a fair chance of football, a fair, you know, because I could see, like what Giss said, all these clicks and all, and it's not nice, you know. No. And a friend of mine's kid is playing football, good kid, good football player, and he says, what do you think? And I told him about 2 years ago, I says, listen, this is football. I says, it's full of people, I says, who don't really care. I says, and then you get people who do care. I said, so you need to find the ones who do care. I says, and go in that direction. I said, because people would say, yeah, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
It's all for their benefit.
It's all for their benefit, Nelson. Exactly. I said, so I says, Darren, this is the chap's name. I said, look, I says, you have to make a call. It's your kid, it's not my kid. If it was my kid, I said he wouldn't be playing football. You know, I says, because that's how bad I think it is in football. Yeah. I said, it's an awful game.
It is. It's a tough,
it is, Al. It's not nice. You know, it's not nice. You know what I mean?
Like, you can see the effects I had on some people. Like, even when we spoke to Git, like that, he didn't want to play amateur football because it sounded like it scarred him. Schoolboy football scarred Git.
Yeah.
Because he didn't make it as a professional footballer or make it across the water, and that in turn led him down a pathway of having a bad attitude to football.
Exactly. Like as Giss said, like, you know what I mean, he probably was scarred from it, and he probably wasn't scarred like physically, but in his head he was saying like, what is this all about, like, you know? And that's a tough thing, like, you know,
Big time.
especially in your head.
And especially at a young age, when you're not young, not even naive, but a bit naive to the world. Like, you haven't hit the world yet.
You don't know the world.
Don't know the world. And then when something like that sets you back, because I think there was something, there's something over in England now. I think that's why they bring that something to do with the PFA. What did they do? Or the Premier League, whoever. The FA brought in something that they have to have now for like psychologists and all this, for kids that are 17, 18, 19 and they're not making it, and they're falling into like terrible depression,
drug addiction, depression,
you know what I mean? Everything.
Suicide.
And back then, at our age, there was nothing there. You like what Giss said? Sheffield United didn't sign, right, off you go back. You're like,
yeah, Gib was a great player. I remember Gib Barber. He's a tough little fella, like, as well. He wasn't as big as he was. Like, he ended up like getting it big and broad and whatever else, but he's a great player, Gib Barber, like, you know. But the thing I'm trying to say is, like, that he was probably in his head saying, like, what is like this all about, like, you know what I mean? And no one to speak to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Nothing there for anybody.
And there's loads of players like that, you know, like, you know, and I know lots of players that, like, you know, have just went the way with, you know, like,
the players that have came back even from England, and like I've heard of a couple of them like going into like terrible depression and saying like, oh, like,
we spoke to Gary Christie about this.
You know,
he came back from Celtic, and obviously was talking to them there today about it. He said it's people don't realise that side of it. Obviously, he said the pressure on you because you're coming back and you feel like a failure. And because everyone thinks you're gone away, you had to go get a 9 to 5 job. Where last week, a couple of months ago, I was spending a few quid buying designer belts and fucking doing all this and all. But now it's back to 9 to 5, earning a few quid. Like,
and
go on.
And nobody was there for these people. There's no union to come back to in Ireland, say, and someone to say, right, let's get him in. Let's provide him with a bit of training. We'll provide him with teams. Let's see if we can get him back to a standard where he thinks he can play, or a certain player. Like, just somebody to be there, to talk to
guide
you back, because you're too young.
You're 16.
And your parents don't know anything about football.
No. So look, what's Gary Christie, like, his dad and his ma, they're probably working class people like us.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
And sure, he got a few quid for probably signing on fee as well. So I'm sure.
How you meant to manage that at that age.
Exactly, yeah.
So it is difficult, like, you know what I mean? And there's loads of players, you know, the players, Nelson, from our age group who went away. Like, name on one hand who actually made it. Willow Flood, done all right, to be honest with you, out football. Played at a good level. Mark Yates.
Yeah.
Done okay.
Reasonably okay.
He did. He played with Spurs and all that. He done well, like,
then
you know what I mean?
Down the leagues, but he had a career.
He had a career in it. Richie Ryan.
Yeah.
Name anyone else. You go, Padjo Flynn didn't come home from not Padjo Craig, no, Padge Flynn off Joey's. Come home from England, from Wolves, and I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years. Well. Jamesy. Yeah. I talk to Jamesy now every now and again, wherever. Come home. Mike Quigley was home.
Yeah.
Tiddler, home. Yeah. Eddie Keys, home. You know, so there's not a lot of lads who actually make them, you know, and there's nothing then when you come back.
Stephen Ward has made it.
Stephen Ward.
Yeah.
Stephen Ward couldn't get a game at some teams, so Stephen Ward was a late developer. He was probably more mature in his by going that bit later. Like, what
instead of the lads going at 16.
Because I didn't know him playing for Belvo. I was like, Stephen Ward. Then I went and I was playing with Bowes. He was actually on that 21s team.
Yeah.
And he went late.
And look at the career he's had. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, so if Wardy was 16 and he went over, he probably wouldn't have had the career.
Yeah. So, do you know what the percent is, Anto, that you go over?
I haven't a clue, but
go over and stay there. 1%.
1%. So every 100 kids, one person makes it.
One person.
That doesn't surprise me.
1%.
You're in England. You're on your own. You're in digs with a couple, Mary and Anne and Michael and Stuart, or whoever they are. You're living there. You can do what you want, really. Like, up to a certain extent, like, you know what I mean? Except, like, do stuff you shouldn't really be doing, but you can really do what you want. You can go where you want. So there's no control. Then you're going to train. You're coming home at 1 o'clock in the day, as Giss said. I listened to what Giss said. You're sitting in a bedroom. That is the worst place in the world to be. Like, you know what I mean? Sitting in England, in a bedroom, on your own. No thanks. I don't mean that. Like, I don't mean that to be disrespectful to the boys. The best of luck, but that Nelson, that wouldn't have been for me. No. You know, it definitely wouldn't have been.
First select few, and that's why only so many make it, because some people can't handle it. You know.
Yeah, and I thought actually, like, I would said to myself, and I only say it now because I'm more aware of, like, playing 16s, 15s at Belvo and so
experience.
I was probably
and
I'm not I'm not like that again. I don't say this lightly, but I was probably the best centre half in that league at that time.
Yeah.
And like I didn't get a look in. You know, like I didn't get a look in. I went out to the AUL, or not AUL, sorry, the FAI, the under 15s, and it was Padjo, Tiller, James Lee, Eddie Case, and that was the forward, and you weren't getting in there. So then it was me, Nelson, say your man off the Orchard. What was his name?
Shorty.
Black-headed fella.
Yeah, Brian Shortall.
So his name was it?
Yeah.
Not a bad player,
Yeah,
decent
good
player. Him, so you know whoever it was at the time. So you knew like this is all clicky and
just there to make the numbers up.
Yeah, only there to make numbers up. That's what he
yeah.
was bang on. See, I said it as I text Daz there yesterday. I says, somewhat Git Barber said he spoke very well. I said, and he was bang on what he said because he was. It was all clicky. You know, there was no chance of Anto Kavanagh getting in there.
Yeah.
Or Nelson Mandela. Is it?
Mr. Mandela to you.
Do you know what I mean? But that's just the way it was. And look, as I said, I don't have any regrets in football. I liked the game. I loved the game. I hated the game, but do you know what? What I got out of football, you couldn't buy. Like, do you know what I mean? But I don't miss it now. I don't. Yeah,
deadly, Anto. So that we'll go into our questions, Anto, right? And
yes,
you're at the answer on our first question because the question was going to be if you had any regrets.
I don't have any regrets.
None at all.
I don't.
We go with the best player you played with.
Best player at what level? Can I? Because I wanted that.
If you wanted to pick 2, 3, Anto,
the best player I played at junior football was John Lester, right? Without a doubt. Just made everything so easy for himself, for me, for everybody around him. He brought us to a level where we dominated junior football. But the best footballer I ever played with was Derek Tittle, centre half at Belvo. It was. Like,
where did he go from Belvo?
Went to Leeds United. He did. Now again, he didn't have the career, but he probably. What a player!
Did he not play on the wing at one stage?
No, that was Tittle. That was
Tiller.
different. That was
yeah.
This was Derek Tittle.
Right.
Tittle. Centre half. Bring the ball out. What I tried to do, he could do. You know, like that. No, seriously, that's why he could do that. Bring the ball out from the back. He was the best schoolboy player I played with.
Brilliant.
I'd say that hands down.
Yeah.
You know, better than Richie Ryan. Now Richie was a good player, but he was Tittle for me because I played next to him.
Did he used to travel up from Sligo?
Tipperary he was
Tipperary,
from.
sorry.
Yeah, he did. Every Friday he'd stay out in Eddie Moun's house. Eddie was the manager before Derek O'Brien. Eddie Moun was the manager. He'd stay out.
And that's dedication for you, though. Obviously, that was his party scene.
But you know what? He was an exceptional footballer. So there was no doubt that he was going to England. You know, that type of fella. Like, you know, there's one that was like Bradzer, like Bubbles and Padjo. They were like definitely going.
They were
always some. You know,
always going. Yeah.
It's a matter of time.
It was only a matter of time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, best manager.
Alan Riley was my best manager. As again, because I'll have to go back to junior football and senior football. Alan Riley was my best manager because he got me. He knew what way I walked. You know what I mean? He knew how I was and how he nearly nobody looking at me. Right, just you know, you drop out today or you play whatever way. Just relax.
Yeah.
And Danny Kenny, I owe everything to him. Yeah.
From Belvo.
Yeah. He was just there for me. You know what I mean? Like where. Like another person would have said, listen, you have to come out here, you have to make it. He didn't do that. He made everything possible for me to play football, you know.
Sounds like Alan and Danny got you.
Yeah, they got me.
As a person.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And a player and knew how to treat you.
Yeah, they did, yeah. Look, as I said, I knew Alan, like, do you know what I mean? I knew his family, but Danny, I didn't know Danny's family. And now I'm friends with his son, Andy. Andy's a goalkeeper for Sheriff United, he was actually. I'm more friends. He works for the council, but he's in the council. He doesn't work.
Like his all.
You know, but Andy is a friend of mine. Like, you know, man, and I have his number on my phone, and we always chatting all. You know, and the wife and stuff like that. You know, nice people, good people. Like, you know, so
we're going down to best club.
Best club. Belvo.
Yeah. I think that was
not for Sheriff. Like, Sheriff was a great time in my life, as you'd say. But Belvo was what I loved. I loved playing for Belvo. There's something about it. I don't know what it was, but I always wanted to play for Belvo, you know? Yeah, always.
Your best friend in football?
Carl McCabe.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, Carl. I know Carl since
nice lad, Carl, yeah.
Carl, 100%. Yeah, great bloke.
Lad, like
great attitude to life. The outlook he has is good.
Yeah, positive man, isn't he?
100% positive, Al, yeah. So, well, now Carl, like, we played since, 11 or 12 years, whatever we played for Shelbourne. And ever since then, we're just friends, you know what I mean? And so Carl McCabe is probably my best friend I've met in football. Yeah, 100%. So, he's a great bloke.
Our best memory?
Scoring the hat-trick. I swear, I felt 20 feet tall, boys, and not messing with you.
When you're telling that story from start to finish, you had a big smile on your face thinking about it.
It gets me excited, Nelson. It gets me, I'll never forget it, like, you know. And my brother does some, so you know, my younger brother, so you know, he'd be taking the whatever, he'd be having the jokes on me. He'd saying, "Man, Bobby, you scored a hat trick down there, like, you know, Dad," and he'd be like, "That was something else, auntie, that was," you know. And even like for him,
his memory,
and like, he wasn't a footballer, like he played a little bit, but he wasn't really, you know, serious about football.
But he sounds like he's enjoying it just as much as you are to get the memory. Yeah,
a hat trick down there, like, you know. I know you're like, yeah. So that's my favourite memory in football that time, because I said it felt like I was on top of the world, you know. It was unbelievable. Like.
Do you have a player in mind that didn't fulfill their full potential?
That didn't fulfill the full potential.
Yeah, if you can pick one, if you do, can you think of
Junior
one player?
Either I'd say both, right, boys, because I'd like to go back to that.
Yeah, of course.
Times, like,
going back to that time, yeah.
One player who didn't fulfill his full potential was Mark Quigley. I think, you know, he's a friend of mine. Quigley knows I'm saying this in the right way, not the negative way.
Did Mark go away?
He went to Millwall,
yeah.
Some
player.
He was your age, was he?
He was, yeah. He was Mark. I think Mark, if he, you know, he's honest. He is not honest. He's not going to say if you think he's honest. Mark was some footballer, so he could have had a really, really, really good career. And one in the senior football, probably Tony Kane.
Yeah,
Tony.
Actually,
Tony.
That's a good show.
Yeah,
great
probably
show.
Tony. Yeah. Really good footballer. You know that from smashing player.
Carefree attitude as well, the way you played.
Yeah, but sometimes that doesn't help, Nelson. You know, sometimes like it goes against everyone, not just him. Like, you know, Tony Kane. Yeah, I'd say Tony Kane. Yeah.
So we will go into our best 11 now. So your formation, set it out and talk us through it.
Nearly want to play 2-2-2-2-2 all them players.
You can have Sheriff Y.C and Sheriff United.
Obviously, you go Lee.
Yeah.
You know what Lee's like got us out of many hole. Great bloke and super goalkeeper Lee. You know, right full Paulie. You know, the captain of the club and great person again, great footballer. Played beside him for years, and you know him since a long time, and he's football. He loves football. All them boys, Paulie Bones, Lee, Anto, Alan, all football, man.
Yeah. Didn't you and Paulie, for obviously years of, I'd say for a long time with Sheriff, he's always played three at the back, didn't he?
Yeah, three at the back, yeah.
But it was always mainly you and Paulie, and then someone else drafted in on the left, like Browner or Joe O'Neill or someone else, wasn't it? But
yeah, it was always me and Paulie.
Yeah.
The mainstays was me and Paulie. You know what I mean? And you know what, I got him out as many holes as he got me out. There was so, you know, we compliment each other, like, you know what I mean. Paulie had a little bit more pace than I had, obviously, but I had a little bit. I'd like to think that Paulie didn't have, you know. So I play centre half. Like, can I go back to the Belvo?
Yeah, 100%.
Tiddler, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Scandalous footballer, like just too easy football.
What's he at now?
I don't know. I haven't met the chap in a long time.
I just know if he's listening, I'll get in touch there.
I just know what he done when I played football and how easy he made football look.
Yeah.
You know, if you're playing football now the way, and I'm not comparing him to Virgil van Dijk or Rio Ferdinand or any of these players, but that is the way he played football.
Yeah.
Bring it out from the back, big long strides. Real smooth player, you know, like really.
I know the player you're trying to explain. I know the Van Dijk player you're saying. You know, obviously you can't.
You know, like I was like a Toyota Corolla, he was like a Ferrari. If that's, you know, you need, you know,
or a Rolls.
He was just
quality,
unbelievable. Like really top player. You know, and I don't know how he never made it in England. I just don't, like, you know what I mean. Obviously the look and the attitude, maybe. No, he had a good attitude actually. He was a good lad. Like he wanted to make it.
Did you know what happened to him even when he went to Leeds? Do you know when he came back? Do you know where he went?
That was it. Like, and you know Morta, Stephen Morta. Him and Tiller were great mates. Like, you know, but you never even see him with Morta. I'd often see Morta with Leeds or whoever else along the way, and you never see him, like, you know. So I don't know if he even lives in this country or what, but he was listening. He knows.
Yeah,
I got him in there, you know.
Would you put yourself in beside him, would you?
No, I wouldn't put myself in any best 11 teams, Nelson. You know, I happy enough.
Yeah, other people,
yeah. You know, like, I don't need to put myself in there, you know. Tiddler was better than I was. I'd play Joe O'Neill,
right,
left full.
Yeah,
great fella, you know, good up and down player, committed, loves it. Yeah, good player, very good, comfortable, very comfortable. Centre half, left full, left wing. So you know. All the left
anywhere
side.
There.
Anywhere on the left side. The midfield, I don't know how you're going to put this in.
Sorry, what you're going three?
Three.
Sorry,
Alan. Yeah,
sorry.
my apologies. Three. I don't know how you're going to fix this in, but I'm going to.
I don't know how you're going to fix it in.
So I say get Barber play the diamond, but so I play Bones on the left side of a diamond. Yeah, obviously like passing ability second to none. Linking balls in, up and down, fit, strong. John Lester.
He had a whip Bones, didn't he, where he'd face that way and play it the opposite way.
Them balls, Alan, you can't, players like that.
Can't cut that
you can't cut it out.
You know what's coming. It's
you just can't stop it. Like unless you're.
And he'd wrap it in.
Unless you're really, really, sharp in your head playing football, and you can see it, you nearly want to just step into the position where you think it's going to go. And that's the best chance of getting the ball, basically. You know what I mean? And then if it goes into someone, you're in an area where you can just like try and get a tackle in or whatever. So I play Bones on the left side of it. I play John Lester here. I play Daz on the right side.
To the right of Lester.
Yeah, so Bones, John Lester, Daz. I play Darren Dunn, Wacker here. You know what I mean?
Almost in the 10.
In the 10, yeah. Where John is up top, obviously, because he was just brilliant player. Goals, attitude towards the game, loves it as well. So I'd have Wacker there and Jonna up top. And that's
a team that won fucking 30 trophies or whatever it was that they won.
And I'd love to be able to put another team, but I can't.
But you still have two players there.
Yeah, but I can't. William Malloy is one. Do you know what I mean? But I'd love to put other players in. And just before I say that, I can't. William Malloy to
the right of him.
Yeah, William Malloy is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So that's 10 players, isn't it?
That's it. In the goalkeeper, yeah.
Was it? Yeah. So 3, 4, 3 in it.
Lee, Paulie, Hiller, Joe, Bones, Lester, Wacker, Daz, William, and Jonna.
I thought you had the players sent off there, sorry.
You probably would have. Put on
you got sent off.
But that's the team I'd pick for Sheriff, like that, because that was like, and there's other boys like obviously you know them as well, like Mark Higgins and Dunners and
all
Kevin
respectful
Lynch,
shouts.
John Morbies and all. They're all brilliant players, and that's my players with different stuff towards like what they had, so that's I think that team would do alright.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
So, that's my team, Al. Yeah,
brilliant.
Very good.
Yeah,
fair
play.
So thanks so much, Anto.
No problem. Just drop us that 50 spot there.
Yeah, no, what? Get it back out the priest.
Anto,